Good evening, everybody. It is time once again to come to the Sunshine State of Daytona International Speedway. We are live tonight here on 3Y TV, giving you the first regular season race of the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. I am joined by my main man, Carlos Acosta. Carlos, tell the folks what they missed last week in those duels, because if it was any indication of what we're going to have here tonight, these folks are in for one heck of a race.
They missed a pretty amazing pair of races. Those two races, the first one, very mild in the beginning and chaotic towards the end, and then the second duo race, it was a little mild at the end, but very chaotic towards the beginning. But you know what? Everything that all these drivers learned and whatever they used for the duo races, you can grab those notes and just throw it out the window, because today iRacing released a brand new patch that pretty much changed the way these vehicles behave in super speedway races. So instead of having really good second power and having the ability to get a good run on the guys behind you, it's starting to become a little bit more like the plate racing that we saw with the Gen 6 for a couple years back in the day, where it's you didn't get as much of a draft, and if you were in the back of the pack, you would probably be in danger of maybe losing the whole draft.
Yeah, and one driver that is pumped up for tonight is Ty McIntosh, and you see a quote on your screen there, ladies and gentlemen, that it's time to go here tonight, feeling a little under the weather, but coming in with a lot of confidence after picking up that win in duel number 2. Man, he's going to roll off third here tonight, and Carlos, even if he's under the weather, 100 laps here at Daytona will make anybody feel good, and they are racing for a special prize here tonight, Carlos, as the top 4 drivers here tonight will be eligible for the first Dash for Cash race next week at Phoenix. But don't worry, the 5th and 6th place finishers will be backups in an event that the top 4 driver cannot make Phoenix race next week. And Carlos just running through the setups for tonight's race. We're taking a look at some of the cars on the track here, getting ready for this first regular season race in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. The drivers will have 4 sets of tires. They'll have 1 on the car to start the race, 3 throughout. Fuel limit set to 75%. We got a 2-hour time limit on tonight's race, but folks, 100 laps here at Daytona will go quick. If we don't have too many big ones, we'll cut those 100 laps into 2 stages. One will be a stage of 20 laps, and one will be a stage of 40 laps. And Carlos, tonight, I cannot wait to kick off the season here. This is going to be one heck of a season. We talked about the schedule last week. What are some of the things that you take away from those duels last week that the folks can get ready for here tonight?
I don't know. Like I mentioned, it's not going to be an exact replica of what we saw last time. Although I don't expect to see the outside lane train going again this time by like we saw at the end of Heat 1 and pretty much the majority of Duel 2, I should say, of Duel 1 and Duel 2. So I don't think we're going to be seeing that too much. But I'm excited to see what we're going to have. It'll be pretty fun either way.
Yeah, Carlos, and some of the drivers that to keep an eye out here tonight is definitely Zach Roethlisberger there. He's going to roll off in that front row. Ty McIntosh, who just spoke about him, is going to roll off in that second row. But as you mentioned, Carlos, those duels were really yin and yang opposites of each other. We saw in Duel 1 the drivers really get at it. We saw waves of emotion in that race, a lot of aggression throughout the middle stages of that race, and at the end we had big crashes. The second duel, like you just mentioned, a lot of the drivers ran that high side lane, really stuck to one another, didn't really push to the lead too much. So the last couple laps, we had 3 overtimes there to end duel number 2 there, folks, last week here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. So I am curious to see which lines build up first here tonight. And as everybody knows about these next-gen cars, as Carlos just mentioned, there was a new patch that came out that makes these cars completely different. Going to handle very different here tonight in tonight's event. I cannot wait to get things started, but we just want to give a special shout out to the people that make it possible here for us at 3Y TV and the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. Manta Rays. If you haven't checked out Manta Rays, go check them out as soon as possible. I am pumped up and ready to get racing here at Daytona, one of my favorite tracks in all of iRacing, one of the tracks that everybody should have here in this series. And Carlos, I love to ask this question. I know we were probably going to put the commentator's curse on him, but who's a driver that you, let's just say, your race pick of tonight, and who do you think is going to really emerge from those duels last week? Because as we saw, a few of the drivers got a little discouraged from their performance of their a few of the drivers weren't feeling themselves. But as we spoke during that broadcast, it's a very long season, and they get another go at it here tonight at Daytona.
Ooh, you know what? I'm actually gonna go outside of the norms here, and I'm gonna pick tonight's winner to be Zack Evans, and it's gonna be for a very specific reason that you guys will see towards the middle or at some point in the broadcast as to why I chose him. But he also did not participate in the duels. I see this man smiling. Did not participate in the duels, so maybe that might be a benefit. Not getting the information that may just be irrelevant now at this point could come in as a benefit for him.
It really could, Carlos, because as we just mentioned, those duels were complete opposites of each other. A few of the drivers got a good feel for the track. Some of the drivers that we really thought were going to pull away in those duels didn't. For instance, Ty McIntosh was a driver that really came out of nowhere there in those duels, came away with the duel win. And I really feel like, as you just said, maybe missing out on the duels, you're not going to get all of that extra driving time and extra stress and everything coming into tonight's event. But on the flip side of that, with that experience of last week's race, maybe picking up a win in the duels like Ty McIntosh starting in that second row, you could really come into this race with a lot of race notes, with a lot of track time, with a lot of confidence. And I really feel like that's going to pay dividends here in tonight's event.
Well said. Well, let's go ahead and get that starting grid going. Got the music here ready to play. And, let's take it away.
There we go. We're going to give these names another go there, Carlos. We got Nick into Colorado. Into Colorado. There we go. We got Riley Marabello starting in the second position. Zach Roethlisberger, another name we just mentioned there, is going to start in third. Sam Brochu, got it right this time, is going to roll off fourth. Barrett Paul
Hemus?
Yep. Paul Hemus, there he's going to go roll off in the fifth position. Damian Langer is going to roll off in the sixth position. Leininger, there we go. See, my man's got me right here. Kyan Riley, who I just saw race last night in the virtual racing league, is going to roll off. Kean Riley. See, my backup's got me rolling off in the seventh position. Brian
Lorenzo?
Lorenzo is going to roll off in the eighth position. Johnny Eckert's going to roll off in the ninth. Seth Rawls is going to roll off in the 10th position. Logan Slovowski is going to roll off in the 11th position. And that guy I just mentioned, Ty McIntosh, is going to roll off 12th. And I'll pass it on over to you, Carlos.
Yeah, in 13th place, we have DJ Weeks with Andrew Hess in 14th. Tom Ogle is going to be starting out tonight's race in 15th with John DeBarro in 16th. Vincent Isabella and Ryan Hyatt are going to be 17th and 18th. Vic Bloom, Aaron Cooper, 19th and 20th. And Josh Robinson, the 21st. Zack Evans in 22nd. 23rd will be, I lost my track there. Matthew Greathouse and Kevin Strandberg is going to be in 24th place.
There we go. Looking at the next row of drivers here, folks. And I apologize if I get your names wrong here. We're only in week number 2, technically, here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. But 25th and 26th positions are going to be Davis Warren and Joey Hitchcock there. Joey ran really strong last week here in the duels. 27th is going to be Adam Tepe in the 27th position. 28th is going to be Min Hang. 29th is going to be Jeremy Nevin. 30th is going to be William George. 31st is going to be Nick Vasquez. 32nd is going to be Ryan Mitchell. Vasquez, there we go. 33 is going to be David Westergreen. 34th is going to be Nicholas Monticelli?
Monticelli.
I was close. And 35th position is going to be Brian Edwards. 36th is going to be Fred Anderson.
I'm going to need you to continue because the names are being jumbled around here for me.
Yeah, I gotcha. 37th position is going to be, there we go, Matt Brewer. 38th is going to be Jordan Tarbo. 39th is going to be Rich Allen. And starting off in the 40th position, it's going to be Adam Kukslowski.
Kulikowski?
Yeah.
We'll go with
got
that.
It. We'll get them down, Carlos. A lot of Italians here in tonight's race in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. We'll get those enunciations down, everybody. The most important thing is that these drivers are ready to rock and roll here tonight at Daytona.
Yeah, we had Seth Raw on the YouTube chat asking who's on commentary tonight. It's Will and Carlos here for tonight's first race. My name is Carlos. That's Will. Say hi, Will.
Howdy,
Will
folks.
says hi. And yeah, we're getting ready here for the very first points race of the season, well, full points race of the season, and the Daytona, the first annual Daytona 250. I already gave my pick. I don't think you actually gave me your pick, so go ahead and tell me who you're picking tonight.
I'm saying, Carlos, it's a who's who of drivers. A lot of these drivers I was calling last night in last night's modified race in the Virtual Racing Association, but one driver that we got his name wrong a few times last week here on the broadcast is Sam Brochu. Sam ran really strong in the duels last week here at Daytona. Really put forth one heck of an effort. I think he may have gotten caught up there in one of the duels, but really ran top 5 in his duel most of the race. Starting off in the 9th position here tonight, so really good starting spot with 100 laps here at Daytona. So I'm going to rock with Sam Brochu here tonight.
That's all right. That's good points. So somebody write that down. I got Zack Evans. You got Sam Brochu. Quick note. It looks like our mistakes. I actually should have caught this. The starting lineup we just spent a couple of minutes going through is not the actual official starting lineup. I probably should have noticed this when Zack Evans was starting 23rd and not like last, as I expected it. Excuse me. But I'm gonna quickly go over the actual starting lineup. There's not going to be any fan. You know what? I can replay the music. All right, Zach Roethlisberger in row number 1 alongside Joey Hickox. Ty McIntosh in row number 2. That's right. Yeah, he won the second duel. What was he doing in the middle of the field? That's right. Fred Anderson as well on row number 2. Row number 3, Andrew Hess, Logan Savosky. Row number 4 is Matt Brewer with Scott Collins. Row number 5 is Johnny Eckert with Nick Indelicato. Row 6 is Ming Hong with Jay Stinson. Row 7, Rich Allen and Nick Vasquez. Row number 8 is Josh Robinson with Aaron Cooper. Barrett Paulimus and John DeBarro is row number 9. DJ Weeks and Ryan Marabello in row 10. So it's going to be your top 20 drivers. 21st and down, row number 11, Joshua Jernigan and Damian Leininger is row number 11. Number 12 is Tom Ogo with Sam Brochu. Row number 13 is David Westergreen with Kean Riley. And row number 14 is David Warren and Matthew Greathouse. It looks like they're going to be delaying it at least one more lap. Row number 15, Seth Rawls, Adam Tepe, Vic Bloom, and Vincent Isabella, 31st and 32nd. Row number 16. Row number 17 is Brian Lorenzo and Ryan Hiatt, Brian Edwards, and Ladarian Johnson in row number 18. Nick Monticelli and Adam Kulikowski is row number 19th, and last but not least is Ryan Mitchell and Jordan Tarbo. Wait, that also doesn't seem right.
We'll get it right there, folks.
Well, to be fair, this is the most. This is like the closest you're gonna get, because Zach Evans is racing, but he's listed as a standby. So as of 7:30 p.m., this was the official lineup. Things have changed since then, though.
There we go. We see the pace lights are off of that pace truck right now. It looks like Roethlisberger and Hickox are going to start off that top row. McIntosh, who won that second duel, is going to roll off in the 3rd position. But here we go, folks. We're about to kick off things here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. This is points race number 1 for this series. We cannot wait to get things started. I feel the anticipation building. I feel the anxiety building there, Carlos. I cannot wait as we're cruising down into turn number 3. Once that pace truck leaves the field, we're going to go green flag racing here at Daytona.
Yep. Two more quick updates before we let you start off tonight's first race. The lineup was set correctly of the officials, but it seems like with the update, it kind of broke some things, as you know, normally happens during an update. So the field was set up by iRating. That's why the drivers are set up like that. I forgot what the second thing was. Oh, yeah. You see how it says lap 2 of 100? That will be reset a couple seconds into the race. So don't worry about that. That's going to be reset back into lap number 1. It looks like we're going to go one more lap at least, it seems.
Oh, man. Just build that anxiety more, Carlos. Just getting those drivers ready, getting them a little bit more sweaty on the wheels here as we see them cross the start-finish line here at Daytona. We're going to go green flag racing here in just a moment. Get an opportunity to go grab those drinks, grab those snacks, get ready for things here at Daytona. This is going to be one heck of a race, and boy, these laps going to fly by here, Carlos. If you are late to the broadcast here, folks, we're going to split this thing in 2 stages. We're going to run a stage of 20 laps and then another stage of 40 laps. These drivers have 4 sets of tires, 1 set on the race car right now and 3 more in the garage. They're rocking with 75% fuel limits on those cars as well. So here we go, folks. We are cruising down the backstretch right now. These drivers are ready to go. Me and Carlos are ready to go. We hope you folks at home are ready to go here as things are about to jump off here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League.
I am bouncing like an infant girl. I'm excited for this right now.
Here we go as we see the cars are cruising down the backstretch right now. Things are going to about to pop off here. We'll see who gets the good restart here. We're going to see a lot of tandem driving here, a lot of bubble driving, if you will, here in these next gens as we see a car sitting down pit road.
I see a couple cars that are off track right now. I'm trying to figure out why. But no answer yet.
So we're checking with race control why that is, and we'll see if this is the jump off point here in the Daytona 250 here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. It looks like we're going to go around one more time here, Carlos, and I'll give you that opportunity to shout out those sponsors that make this league possible, that makes this field possible, and makes this broadcast possible.
Yep, very quick. Thanks. You already mentioned one of them earlier here tonight, as that was Manny Reyes. The other sponsor we are extremely thankful for here tonight is none other than, oh, excuse me, I got the Pro Air. Thank you so much for sponsoring. Manny Race is the main series sponsor, but of course, huge thanks to, I had the image right here. Where'd it go? I may have just deleted everything that I've been working hours for. No, here it is. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for Pro Air and Manny Reyes.
There we go, and hopefully that Pro Air sponsor can keep things cool here tonight, keep these drivers level-headed here in these race cars, folks. A lot of work goes into these iRacing events every week. These drivers put in a lot of track time, a lot of practice time, and Carlos, one thing that I mentioned on my broadcast last night is there's also a financial aspect to racing and iRacing, so these drivers not only spend a lot of time, but also a lot of money to make these things possible here tonight, so we'll see what they have in store here tonight, folks, as we're cruising around corner number 4 here. Just about to get things started here, just getting those engines revved up, getting those tires warmed up just a bit. We'll see if that pace truck decides to pull off here, and if so, we're going to go green flag racing here at Daytona. Oh, there we go, Carlos. He pulls off the top. We're about to go racing here. That green flag is in the air. This season has now officially started in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League as Hickox takes him down into 1 with Roethlisberger right next to him.
Nice restart for both drivers, or all the drivers on both lanes, I should say. We saw issues with the outside lane in duel number 1 and then issues with the inside lane in duel number 2. But this time by to actually start the race, everybody appears to be nice, awake, and alert.
Whoa, getting a little dicey off of 2 right there, Carlos. Already a few drivers peeling off the side there on the inside of the backstretch. They're going to follow right back in the line there. A little dicey coming off at 2 as they go down into 3. That 31 Machine of Hickox and still lead the race. Going around into 4s. Got Savowski right on the outside of him. They're drag racing around the corner. Round 4 onto the front stretch here. Already some pushing going on the exit of the corners here. Savowski still on the outside, and that 21 Machine's going to lead them down to lead lap number 1 here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League as they head down into 1 with Savowski and Hickox side by side.
Yep, in a little bit, I don't know exactly when, but a little bit the lap counter will reset to the actual current lap time, considering the fact that we actually never took the green flag as the caution kept on, or as the pace laps kept on getting extended. So very soon that thing will automatically update. It is unfortunately out of my control, but we are currently in the middle of lap number 2 as that outside lane is starting to deform right now. But you know, as expected, very early into this 100 lap, 250 mile race, not everybody's going to be going balls to the walls here right off the bat.
I love it, Carlos. As Hickok's going to lead them out of 4. Man, these exits of the corners are getting hairy already as Hickok and Savowski's going to drag race to the line. Not sure who led that second lap of the race just yet as they were drag racing down into 1. As you see, Savowski's now pulling away on that outside lane. We have a car in the middle all by themselves as peeled down now. That looks like Cooper in that machine's going to drop down into that inside lane there, Carlos, as they round 2 onto the backstretch.
Listen to those engines purr already. 40 drivers out here on track. As I believe we actually have a couple drivers, 38 drivers on track. It appears we had 2 drivers that were unable to start, that being William, George, and Fred Anderson. But maybe they'll be able to get back. Who knows? It could have just been a small connection issue. Got them disconnected. But right now, that outside line looking pretty good. Is number 21, number 71, that's Logan Savowski and Aaron Cooper. Kind of 2-car tandoing by themselves, as I'm not sure who that was that disappeared. Well, they're still gone, so it looks like we may be having a driver disconnect here within the next couple of moments.
Yeah, Carlos, as they're coming around 4 and now onto the front stretch here. Still Savowski and Cooper on that outside lane there. Going around the backstretch right now on the exit of 2. Looks like Cooper's got a lot of speed now on the inside lane there. Looks like they're gaining a little bit more speed. He's got Hickok's in that 31 machine. You saw him start off on that front row, now pushing that back line. Now they're side by side once again here on the front stretch. Savowski and Hang on the outside. You got Cooper and Hickok's on the inside. They're racing down into 1 right now with Savowski and Cooper on the outside. Hang. They're going down into 2.
In the exit of corner number 2 there last time by, we saw the inside line being led by Ming Han. Get a fantastic run, wrecking in the backstretch.
Oh, no! Oh, no! I knew that corner number 2 was going to eat up somebody, Carlos, from just what we've seen so far. And there it is, folks. The first caution of the race is on the racetrack.
Oh, they're still going.
Man, this is crazy.
It looks like I'm being told DJ Weeks was involved. Let's see if I can pull up the replay here real quick and just see what happened.
Yeah, Carlos, looks like just on the exit of 2 there, if we wind it just a little bit, you see him drift up into that topside lane and really just got that back fender clipped on the exit of 2.
Nick Vasquez was the driver that was involved that clipped. Clip Weeks. Let's see if I can also get a different type of view here.
Right about there. Yeah, that's a perfect view right there, Carlos. As you see on the exit of 2. Yeah.
Wow. Not sure who that teal-looking car was. May have misjudged when to get down low behind the 12, or just misjudged the actual location as to where that driver was, because they came down, clipped that 12, and sent him straight up to the outside wall, and ended up taking out DJ Weeks as well, or at least clipping DJ Weeks. The 11, I'm not sure what number that is. Or
yeah, Carlos. You know, Carlos, it looks like, what I like to say there, the danger zone lane claims another victim. What I mean by that, folks, if you're unfamiliar with my broadcast, the danger zone lane is that middle lane. You get in that middle lane, nothing good is ever going to happen. As we take a look here, that car was directly in that middle lane. What happens there, folks, is you're feeling the air from both sides of that race car. When you feel that, it's almost like playing a tug of war with 2 cars. There's really nowhere to go. Once you get pulled in one direction, you have to overcorrect to another position. As you saw right there, Carlos, you got sucked into the inside there on the exit of the corner, and once that happens, you have nowhere to go but to make contact with another car. And that danger zone lane, it's so hard once you get stuck in that lane. You can't escape it. It's like quicksand. All you can do is either fade back and lose a lot of positions, or what we saw right there, Carlos, and that's unfortunate, only a few laps into this race.
I believe something may have happened to Hickok's, because he's being shown the leader, although that doesn't seem... we may be having issues with our scoring and timing, so ignore that for the time being, as it looks like it may have just been reset. Right, yeah, it's all working fine now. Of course, the moment I take it away. But all right, 7 laps into this 100-lap race. We are almost halfway at the end of stage 1. I'm not sure if you did mention this. I think you did, but I'm just gonna say it just in case. We do have stages. The DSCR does have stages. However, there are no stage breaks. There's no cautions for the stages. So as soon as lap 20 is hit and lap 20 is done, the top 10 will get points. But the racing continues.
Oh, that's awesome, Carlos. So no break in the action here, folks. We just keep it rocking and rolling, almost like a soccer match or a rugby match, what I used to play, where even if you get hurt or injured, the game just keeps going here, Carlos, and I love it, folks. We keep the action rocking and going for you here on 3Y TV. As we take a look here, Carlos, man, in the words of Nelly, it is hot in her here tonight. I saw it on the exit of 2 there. We saw it in the first couple laps. Saw a lot of drivers have to get out of the line completely for how crazy it was on the exit of 2. It was almost guaranteed that something was going to happen there.
And speaking of hot in temperatures, it's 94 degrees out on track right now. And I'll tell you what, we are feeling it here in the 3Y TV minivan that I have rented out so that we can actually do the broadcast, because we cannot get those badges to actually use the booths. So it's hot, and there's only so much this AC can handle. So I did have to call the guys at Pro Air. I paid for expedited delivery and installment. So hopefully before stage 2 ends, we'll have some cool AC here.
Yes, sir. As we're creeping up here, folks, as we see that top row right now of Slawowski and Cooper, and from what I've seen so far there, Carlos, that top side lane looks like the way to go. We saw them separate just a little bit there. The bottom lane came hard charging there right before the caution. I really feel like that's going to be a lot of what we're going to see here tonight. We're going to see one line dominate for just a little while. 2 more drivers will fade into line there.
I took a second look, and you ever feel like just an idiot? They're a medical supply company. So I don't know what I bought, but it's not going to keep us cold.
Oh man, Carlos. Well, maybe they'll keep you safe then in this hot temperatures here at Daytona, that medical supply company here, as we see the cars around corner number 4 here. We see the pace lights are off of the pace truck there. We're about to go green flag racing here once again in points race number 1, officially week number 1 here in the Dynasty Start Car Racing here, as we see the green flag is in the air and waiting as Slawowski is going to take them across the line to get this thing on and popping once again as he leads them down into corner number 1 all by himself actually there, Carlos.
May have been too much of a jump, but we'll see, as already the 71 on the outside lane got a good run on him, decided to jump down, take the position, clear himself, and actually move himself up high, as Ming Han actually got the run on the inside behind him. 71 of Aaron Cooper would have still hold on to the lead as they're in the wall. They're wrecking
watch
their
out!
back.
Oh no!
What a save by Josh Robinson of Team Miata Racing. Wow, he got clipped after the 71 of Aaron Cooper hit the outside wall, I believe, and pretty much did everything but wreck that car. He's going to lose a draft more than likely, and he has some race damage, but wow, what a fantastic recovery by the 30 of Josh Robinson. I'll see if I can pull up a replay here soon.
Almost flashbacks of the opening scene of Tokyo Drift there when the guy was ripping through the houses, was able to save that race car. You saw that car go straight down onto the bottom side of the track there on the backstretch, just like a flash. He saved that thing just as Carlos mentioned, but an awesome way to save that race car, get yourself back into contention.
Well said. Can you keep on going while I try to get this replay here going?
Of course, as we see Ming Hang is going to lead them down into corner number 1, has Hess right behind him. Slawowski's going to go to the outside right now as they dig down into 3 in that 21 machine. He's trying to get his way back up to the top there. In the words of Ludacris, he's coming for that number 1 spot. As you see, he's trying to push that outside lane there, try to get around Ming Hang right up at the top. But Hang's going to lead them down into the start-finish line. There's a lot of action there on the exit of 3. You're going to drag race across the start-finish line right here as Slawowski has some help right behind him. He's got McIntosh. Ty McIntosh has worked his way back up there after fading in the initial start of this race as they go down into 1. Right now they are drag racing once again with Slawowski's your leader. Hangs right on the bottom side as well, but a lot of big names behind these drivers. You got Hess, you got McIntosh pushing them on the bottom side and top side respectively as they're drag racing down the backstretch. She's going to lead them down into 3 as we see a bit of separation on the outside. as they're still drag racing around 3, coming to the exit of 4 right now. It's Hang and Savowski drag racing almost like on the quarter mile here, folks, but we're not on a quarter mile. We're on Daytona International Speedway here as we get that multicam view up for you there, Carlos, and break down exactly what happened there.
You can see the 71 hit the outside wall. Not quite sure just exactly what happened, but as a result of that, the 21 got to his inside, and with the momentum still pushing that 71 down, it also forced the 21 down, and then eventually clipped the number 30 of Joshua Robinson and sent him all the way down. Well, I would say not all the way down, but maybe halfway down before he was able to recover. Came back up into just the apron area, and then was eventually able to safely merge back up into the racetrack. However, Joshua has lost a ton of spots.
Yeah, when you get back to the action here, folks, we were just taking a look at what happened there. An awesome save, the way to save that race car there, Carlos. You might have lost a lot of spots on the racetrack. Still a long way to go here, folks. We are 7 laps away from ending stage number 1 right here, as we have a big battle for the lead that it's ensuing right now. Ty McIntosh has worked his way up there, as well as Brewer. We see a big push from the inside lane there. And is Brewer now leading the race here, folks, just going down into turn 3. He's got Minhang right behind him, pushing him in that beautiful Ford Mustang machine as they come off of 4 right now. Brewer is a name that we didn't see coming at all there, folks, is now leading the race here on lap 14 as they cross the start-finish line, going down into 1.
Yeah, Matt Brewer got a fantastic push from Meng Hong there, exiting the corner, and was able to get the lead, clear himself. Not only that, but it looks like the first 3, well, actually now 2 drivers are by themselves, as we saw the number 54, Andrew Hess, was almost clear before. It looks like Matthew Greenhouse is able to get up onto his outside, as that's where the side-by-side battle is continuing, with just about 7 laps, well, 6.5 laps remaining in stage number 1. Remember, the top 10 drivers get points.
There you go, and that's what we're racing here for, Carlos. We spoke to those drivers last week that qualified 1-2 to start the race off here tonight in the Daytona 250, and we asked them that question: what's more important, starting on the pole position or the front row, or the 10 bonus points you can get for winning the duels? And it was almost unanimous, Carlos. They both said, no, we want the points. We want to get those points to start off things here tonight. And I believe it was Ty, if I'm not mistaken, maybe it was Ty McIntosh that took home all the maximum points there in those duels.
I don't believe that was the case. I remember looking, I'm going to pull that up here just a little bit. Not for you guys to watch, obviously, but for me to see, if I have to open it up here on my actual computer.
But as you're checking that out there, Carlos, we have a new race leader on the track. Greathouse has now taken over the lead there. Another name that has really climbed his way up this lineup, up into the top spot there. Overtook Savowski and Brewer for that lead. Essentially came out of nowhere there, folks. Savowski's going to overtake on the outside lane. Big push there from behind him on that outside lane there. But now they're drag racing once again around the corner onto the backstretch here, folks. Oh man, again a dicey exit on 2 there. Savowski's going to lead them down the backstretch here, as Ty McIntosh pushing them down there as well. Roethlisberger is up there as well. Roethlisberger has done a great job of climbing his way back up the lineup as well. Just a second ago, I saw him all the way down into the 10th position as we round corner number 4 here onto the front stretch.
Might be Johnny Eckert about to go a lap down. Actually, I think he may already be a lap down. Going back to what we were talking about, Johnny Eckert is going a lap down here for the first time, so he's 1 lap down right now. He's the first driver 1 lap down. I don't actually have the actual numbers. I only have the top 10 in points, and that's going to be Hickox and McIntosh are tied for first, and then Hess and Anderson are tied for third, 1 point behind the race lead. So I don't actually have the numbers, I just have how far back they are from the race leader. I apologize.
That is A-okay here, Carlos. As they're coming around corner number 4, I do believe, onto the front stretch here, Carlos. And as we have a second to breathe here, as it looks like the racing has calmed down just a little bit. what would be your take so far of this thing? Looks like the drivers are really pushing this thing out of the gate to start off this first race of the season.
I think they've been pushing it, and they've been doing a really good job of actually being able to race side by side and not have issues. Although I will say there have been a couple mistakes I've noticed out on track. One that did result in a caution, another one that resulted in a driver or two losing the draft with no caution coming out for it. So mental mistakes very early on, but I think those more of not as a lack of being able to actually drive side by side or challenge at a track like Daytona, Talladega, and Atlanta, but more of maybe I haven't like raced properly with these guys. Maybe a little nervous. I just make a mistake type of thing. Something that we're not going to really be seeing towards a couple of races into the season. So those type of mistakes are fine. They're small. Usually they don't really cause anything except for the one we saw that did bring out a caution. But those things will eventually be cleaned up and really more quickly than not. While we are currently in lap 19, I do want to get a very, very brief moment of silence. Last weekend we lost the racing and sim racing community lost Todd Kirkwood, passed away. Todd Kirkwood was a beloved sim racer. Not only that, but he also participated and helped in funding racing leagues as well as a series and everything. So Todd Kirkwood, we will miss you. We will miss you, and we will always remember the great impact you had. As we just had another incident coming out with the caution actually resulting. This will actually end the stage. So, Will, how about we take a look at just what happened there? Did you get a better glimpse than I did?
Oh man, it is sad news on the track here, Carlos, as the 21 machinist Solowski is caught up on there as we were taking our moment of silence there. Gets caught up, takes some damage to the race car there. We're seeing the 83 as well tangled up in there. The White Claw machine. Gonna need some White Claws after that incident on the track. Savowski's got damage. The 83 machine has damage as well. We saw what happens there, Carlos. If you drift back just a little bit there in that pack, you gotta race yourself just a little bit more. As you see, Savowski's on the outside lane there. Ty McIntosh, I believe, is in that 10 car. Just may have... Oh man, that looked a little awkward to me there, Carlos. Looks like Savowski just kind of drifted down just a little bit.
Well, here's what I'm thinking happened. The 10 just gave it too much beans there on the back of the 21. Got him loosey-goosey exiting the tri-oval, where the car is kind of light once you're getting out of that motion, the car's shifting back in its weight, or the weight shifting back from where it was, and the back end just got loose. Too much of a push, sent the car down to collect the 83 of Tom Mogo, and unfortunately we saw what happened there. Don't think it's going to take his I don't think it's going to take him out for the rest of the race, but I do feel like he is going to be racing with a disadvantage with the damage that he has right now.
Yeah, and the worst person to get from that accident was the 83 machine. Really just an innocent bystander and was trying to race their way up into that lead pack, and just saw that action ensuing in front of them and really had nowhere to go there, Carlos. And that's unfortunate, as we're going to see our first round of pit stops here in the Daytona 250. And Carlos, for folks that are unfamiliar with iRacing, break down how important these pit stops are and what do these drivers have to do while they head down pit road?
Can you give me a moment on that? I'm trying to quickly update Matt's name so it can reflect that he won stage 1.
No problem at all, Carlos, as we're taking a look at these pit stops here, folks. And just a reminder, these drivers have 4 sets of tires here tonight. They started with a set on these race cars. They have 3 more sets to go if they decide to take tires here in this round of pit stops, as we see a little bit of contact there on pit road. We also have a 75% fuel capacity here. These drivers really want to get these things geared up for the next round of racing here. Stage 2 is going to end around lap 40, and then we're going to shoot this thing off with 60 laps to go, to 40 laps to go, to end this off here tonight, folks, as we're taking it. Matt's not my strong suit. The microphone is here as we take a look at them exiting pit road here. See a little shakeup in the lead. We'll see who's going to be leading the way here after all this shakeup here. Looks like a few cars may have stayed out on the track. Definitely going to be a little bit of a disadvantage here to start things off here in stage number 2. Looks like the way to go was to head down pit road, as a lot of the leaders did in fact do so, as we're taking a look here at the 99 machine of Jordan Tarbo. Jordan Tarbo is racing that Virtual Racing Association here tonight in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. The Virtual Racing Association takes place on Tuesday nights, live on 10-4 broadcasting. If you haven't seen those modifieds run, you definitely have to go check them out. Caden Tufts is the young gun on the track there in that series. He racks up the W's. Man, he racks up so many W's. I'm going to call him the New England Patriots of modifieds, the way he's able to just rack up wins and championships in the modifieds there. I believe he's only 16 years old. Definitely go check out the Virtual Racing Association. That is definitely a league to check out, as we see that 99 machine indeed head down pit road right now.
You got to ask yourself, was it the Patriots or was it Brady?
Or Belichick. That's another argument too.
There's been arguments about that, that's for sure. Yeah, it's a good point. Was it any of those three? I mean, I got to think it's a combination of the three. But anyway, yeah, as you can see, Great House 1, Stage 1, his number will be highlighted with platinum there. As you can see, I'm going to try to do the same thing for all of the stage winners. So I do apologize. Cool. I forgot to tell you that I would be doing that. So you picked literally the worst moment to bring that onto me, but I do want to talk about pit stops, and it's something that I mention every single time I do a broadcast and commentate on a play race. Is pit stops not really as important as you would think under caution, but under green flag conditions, they are usually what's going to get you. And it's not the actual pit stop itself, it's the slowing down and merging back on track that really bites the bullet and can take you out of contention. We'll talk about that more in detail, because we're about to be going green here for the we're about to restart for the second time of the night, green flag for the third time of the night. As well, stage 1, your thoughts very quickly?
Man, very quickly on that stage 1 was high impact from word. We had a lot of slicing and dicing going on, a lot of craziness, a lot of drivers pushing off of 2. A couple cautions there mixed in as well. I am really excited for the start of stage 2 here. And looking at the chat there before we go green here, Carlos, looks like we have Nancy Hickox in the chat. So Joey Hickox took home the max amount of points last week. I do remember that. Picking up, I believe he qualified first or second and won his dual race, if I'm not mistaken. So that's just something to keep in mind here, folks, as we're coming off of 4 here. About to go green flag racing here once again. Yeah,
green flag's already out. And we also had OBBG start saying, didn't think Eckert could go a lap down. And, you know, usually Eckert, you're not going to find them a lap down unless he pit early on a green flag pit stop sequence. Not quite sure what happened. I think it had something to do with checking up for that incident with the 21 and the 71 that didn't result in a caution, or excuse me, the 30 as well, that didn't result in a caution. So I have a feeling that's why he went a lap down. And I believe he did get his lap back. So there are 35 drivers on track, 35 drivers in the lead lap right now. Vincent Isabella in 36 is 1 lap down. Then Aaron Cooper is Vincent Isabella is multiple laps down. Actually 36 and down, they're all multiple laps down with the exception of William George and Fred Anderson, who were unable to start tonight's race so far.
As you see right now, Heng led them off the restart, now leading them down into corner number 2 on the backstretch here. They're snaking out that bottom side lane there, Carlos. We threw out the snake Nokia game there. I think a lot of these drivers that are, if they're under the age of maybe 28 or 29, they'll have no idea what we're talking about when we talk about the snake Nokia game from back in the day. We saw it a lot in the dual races. We saw those straight line locomotive trains, if you will, running around the track here. That bottom side lane looks like the train that you want underneath your Christmas tree, because that thing is chugging along here down into corner number 1. Heng still leading the race with Hess and Brewer right behind them.
Oh man, I love having a train running around underneath my Christmas tree. Of course, we get that running for the very first time, and then after that, it's just the tracks get disconnected, and it's just a hassle of a mess, and we just turn off the train.
Right, as you see right now, they almost got a hassle and a mess coming off of 2 right there. Got a little dicey but nothing is stopping that bottom side lane just yet, as Hang's still leading them down into corner number 3 in that number 4 machine. That 54 Hess is right behind him, as well as Brewer. Brewer's done a great job of keeping that car inside of the top 5 throughout tonight's event. Once he climbed up there, he's not letting go of that spot. He's holding down there as Hang's going to lead them across the line here on lap 27 to corner number 1.
So something we are not seeing yet, hopefully it's we don't see it at all tonight, and we didn't see much of in duel number 2, was that that weird type of event where we saw drivers, especially the drivers that were leading the pack on the inside, exiting turn number 2, where the driver right behind them would be giving them just a little too much of a push, and that lead car would get loose and then cause a major incident. Thankfully, we haven't seen that here tonight. We didn't see much of it in duel number 2, but that's always something to keep an eye out of, especially when it's starting to get into situations where, you know, it's time to race and we're not just out there chilling. So during that time, you gotta be careful. See what the guy right behind the leader of the inside line is doing, because that could also be a major factor.
Yeah, Carlos, talking about major factors here. It looks like we have some separation between those top 3 cars right now. Taking a look at that grid there, folks. We got Hang, Hess, and Brewer 1, 2, 3. Then after that, Carlos, it's about a 10-second gap between the 3rd place car and the 4th place car, even though it may look like it on your screen, folks. If you're listening to audio only here tonight, they are separating themselves as they head down into 3. The topside lane is trying to build up there. Looks like Roethlisberger's trying to lead the way there on the outside. Just not getting the speed that they want there on the top side lane. Bottom lane's just really pushing things. And Carlos, one of the names I want to throw out here that I'm seeing climb up that leaderboard is Riley right up there, now into the 9th position. Really took advantage of those pit stops, those cautions, has climbed his way. Now, as I mentioned his name, into the 8th position now. Definitely a driver to keep an eye out here to close that out stage number 2.
Have you ever thought about just what's going on inside the head of a driver? What type of things they're doing as they're kind of participating here in the middle of the pack? Have you ever thought about what that would look like?
For me, it looks like an anxiety attack, Carlos. Really, it looks like hyperventilating, looks like shaking a little bit, it looks like palms are sweaty. That's all I can imagine, Carlos, as you see cars passing you on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side. You're trying to get this machine up to the front. You see them starting to separate just a little bit from you. You're starting to think, oh my goodness, am I not doing this right? Am I not catching the draft just right? Can I not make the right adjustments on my pit stops as we head down into the corner here onto the backstretch? It's really, you have a million things running through your head right as a driver.
Oh!
But it's really, oh, as we see, caution on the track, big wreck on the backstretch.
Oh, what a way to ruin the bit I was setting up. But let's go ahead and take a look at the replay and see what happened.
Huge wreck.
I think it's Vincent Isabella that was involved.
And Carlos, I think we need to put some caution tape and caution cones on the exit of 2, because it looks like it has from there. No, it looks like it was on the exit of 3. It may have happened before that. It looks like there's a few more cars involved other than just the 5 machine we're seeing on your screen there. As we see on the exit of 2, right here taking a look, we see a car fade off, coming down. It's stuck in that danger zone lane once again. Coming down into 3 on this replay here, taking a look live on 3YT. It happened. There was a lot of commotion, a lot of cars sideways, and we're taking a look there.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. It looks like we got the wrong replay queued up. Taking a look, it looks like Nicholas Monticelli.
Oh, there it is. There it is, Carlos, and that looks like it was on the exit of 2. Claims another victim in tonight's race. Our first caution of the night was an incident off of corner number 2. And it looks like that happened once again here, Carlos, but it claimed a few more victims in the first caution we had.
Oh, that was interesting. After the event already happened, there was another incident, kind of with the checking up process.
Man. We are seeing some high-intensity racing here tonight, Carlos. These drivers, man, yeah, just came off of two. Had to get that thing down off the top side lane. Gosh, but look at that action photo there. Looks like John Wick number 4 here tonight, folks, as we see that car in slow motion, sliding down the apron there on the backstretch. We see those beautiful flaps there on the top go up. But man, what a bummer for that 27 machine. Didn't really claim anybody coming down the track, but as you mentioned, Carlos, there was more action behind him after that happened, as we're taking a look from the front-hand point of view of that race car. And Carlos, once you start to get sideways and you feel yourself slipping, there's really nothing you can do at that point.
It's a little weird. I'm not quite sure just what caused that incident. I'm starting to think it maybe could have been a mental mistake that happened there with Monticelli. Didn't have anybody behind him. Didn't have anybody directly right underneath him. I think that maybe he got behind on his steering, and when he tried to correct it, just was a little too late. Let's take a look, see if you can find something on the onboard. Yeah, the car just gets loose on the outside. I'm starting to think maybe he just got behind in the steering.
And Carlos, I'll ask you this question now. We have a second as we're taking a look at this caution. We've seen corner number 2 claim a couple of victims. We've seen a lot of slicing and dicing for the exit of 2. How difficult, as you have experience here at this track and a little bit of experience in these next-gen cars, how difficult it is coming off of 2 to feel that air change, to feel that draft change. Because as we've seen, a few drivers have to actually pull out of line. How difficult is it to make a race car on the exit of these corners?
I wouldn't say it's the hardest thing, but it's got to be something that you're prepared for. Yeah, if you're prepared for it, like for example, if you know someone's going to give you a little bump in the corner, you can prepare for that, and that won't be too hard to recover. But from what you're talking about, that's all that mentioning. It's something that the drivers are aware of, so it doesn't make it the hardest thing. But if you're not expecting it, or if you lose concentration for a second, it could be something that's very hard to adapt to.
Yeah, as we take a look here, folks, we have a little shakeup at the top row. Roethlisberger really came out, got that pole tonight's event in the Daytona 250. Kicking out in his dual race, not a really exciting way for his night to kick off there in that dual race. Really one of those bonus points there, Carlos, but came into tonight's race with a little bit of points there for getting that pole position. Got an awesome start to tonight's race, and has now got his race car back up to the top after fading for just a little bit there. Savowski, we saw him just get caught up a little while ago, and that 21 machine has now raced his way back up into the second position. You got Riley up there, climbed all the way up from the top 10. He was 10, 9, 8 as I was calling him out. Now he's up to the third position. Warren's in the fourth position, and Brewer, we saw him as we're taking a look at the in-car camera view there. Brewer faded in that middle lane, has now worked his way back up into the fifth position there, Carlos, and that is your top 5 so far here on lap 33 here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League here. We'll see if indeed pulls off, and there we go, folks. The green flag is in the air. Let's kick this thing off once again here in the Daytona 250 live on 3Y TV as Roethlisberger is going to take him across the line down into corner number 1.
Good start from the inside line, as maybe a little too good of a start there, as the 11 of Kian Riley ended up abandoning there Zack Roethlisberger on the outside, but Zack decided, nah, you're going to stick with me for now, kid, and moved up there with him. So now Kian Riley, Matt Brewer on the inside, number 26, is leading that lower train. They had a run exiting the corner, but it seems like right now, towards the intro of turn number 3, that line kind of like stalled out a little.
Yeah, as we take a look right now, as Roethlisberger is going to lead them around corner number 3. Brewer's down on the bottom with him drag racing each other now to the start-finish line. See a lot of that here tonight, folks. No drivers wanting to separate too much, as right now Roethlisberger and Brewer 1-2 across that start-finish line down into 1. They're still racing each other side by side. We're going to try to see which line gets the pull here just a little bit, as we see that top side lane's got a little bit more speed here around 1 and 2 heading to the backstretch. Roethlisberger and Riley 1-2 there on that top side. Savowski third position now, separating from that bottom side just a bit. And Carlos, it really looks like that top side lane is the way to go here. And we saw that in duel number 2 last week.
Saw that in duel number 1, and I saw that in a bunch of other Daytona races that was going on these last couple of weeks. That outside line, if you can control it as a team, if you can achieve that NASCAR 06 total team control, you can dominate pretty much the whole race. It's hard to do, but if you can hold on to that outside line, they can try to challenge you on the inside. But you're going to have all the advantage in the world crossing the start-finish line, considering where it is located on the track. If the start-finish line was located at the exit of the corner, that outside line would not be as strong as Riley decides he no longer wants to help Roethlisberger, as he saw an opening on the outside line, as we have, at this point, 4.5 laps to go on stage number 2, as that AC unit has yet to arrive. I ordered a new one, and it's still not here because we are hot in the van. But 4 laps to go crossing this time by, and we're going to have ourselves a classic stage finish. But remember, no cautions at the end of the stage. Also want to give a shout out to Deanna Warren out in the chat, a 3-Way TV pick crew member, cheering on the number 70.
Whoa, and we just saw Roethlisberger get stuck in quicksand there because he sunk fast there, all the way down into the position there, Carlos. The danger zone lane claimed another victim, sucked him all the way down into the 10th position as we took a look at the multicam point of views here, brought to you by 3Y TV. Riley has done a great job of working his way up into that top position. So now Savowski as well as on corner number 3, around 4. As Carlos just mentioned, we have 3 laps to go here in stage number 2 here. We are live on 3Y TV. This is the first race of the season here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. We ran duels last week that set the field here, as Riley's going to take him across the start-finish line down into 1, but here comes Brewer on the inside lane.
So there's just always something magical about the first race of the season, especially if it's at a track like Daytona. You always want to win it. Even the plate racers even the plate haters who don't like racing with these type of tracks, still just want to have a great time here, being able to get a win to start the season. What better way to start the season than by getting a win and get that win out of the way for the rest of the season. You already got that win going on. You got momentum going on to the rest of the races. Plus, you won at Daytona, so that's always something that's good to talk about.
Yes, sir. Talk about momentum. It looks like that momentum has built up on the inside lane there, as now Brewer in that 26 machine is now door to door with Riley now. That inside lane there got a lot of speed coming off of 4 there to the start-finish line as they dig down into 1 and 2 right now. They're inside Brewer and Riley. They're in the top position, but a lot of speed behind these guys. You're going to have a lot of competition to close out this race here, as they are now drag racing down the backstretch here. Brewer and Riley are door to door as we see a lot of movement behind him. It's getting really dicey here, folks, here on the last lap of stage number 2. Riley still on the top side. There's got a little fishing holding on Savowski.
Yep, that outside line is as we're actually entering the last lap here. Kean Riley on command. He's been on command ever since he took the lead from Roethlisberger. The 21 of Logan Savowski thought about dabbing down to the inside. Is going to stay onto the back of the number 11. I really don't know who's going to win. This is going to be a nice kind of a little practice session for the end of the race. If we can even get to the finish here, as Kean Riley leads through 1 and 2. One of the cars back there on the second row on the inside line got a little loosey-goosey as Davis Warren dips down to the inside.
He's trying that 70 machine. He's like a spotter monkey in that Mountain Dew machine. He's trying to get his way up to the top there now on the bottom side lane there. He's trying to come at Riley, right, trying to do the do, baby, in that 70 machine to get up there and overtake the lead, but he's not going to have enough speed to do so. As Savowski now makes a move in that 21 machine to try to get around Riley. He said, I'm done being Cal-Non. I want to take over that number. I want to win some races myself, as he goes now to the inside lane to overtake Riley. They're drag racing now on the exit of 2.
But unfortunately, it was just a little bit too late, as Riley ended up leading lap 40 here to end stage number 2. Remember, no cautions, so don't expect one here. As now, we just go on the rest of the way. No more stage points up for grab. That is all over. The top 10 drivers from stage 1 and 2, they all got their points. We're going to be figuring that out, after the race is over, and well on to next week, we'll figure out where's where. At the end of the races, we've got the points. But, yeah, Great House and Riley each got a stage win here tonight for the Daytona 250.
Fantastic, and fantastic for Riley, and that 11 machine has really worked his way up to the top. Like I said, I saw him in 10th position, 8th position, inside the top 5, got up there to the lead, and is now taking home some stage points here now. But the leader on the track here, folks, is that 21 machine of Savowski. We saw him get in a little bit of trouble there just to end stage 1, but what a way of saving that race car, Carlos, and racing his way back up into the lead position as they dig down into 3.
Yes, great job indeed. But we're starting to see the signs of what we saw in duel number 2, of that outside line kind of forming its own line like we saw back in real life for a couple years, with that outside line train going on. I'm glad that it's not fully forming, but I'm seeing the signs. I'm seeing the early signs of what could happen if these guys decide to just drive for a large majority of the race.
As Phil Collins once said, I can feel it coming in the air tonight here, folks, as we are 43 laps into this race here, the first race of the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. But it looks like DeBarro right there in that DraftKings car said, why don't you put your bets on me, as he is trying to get up into that top position there in the 3rd as they dig down into 3. But don't look now, here comes Ty McIntosh in that 10 machine now on the inside lane there, trying to get up there as we take an in-car camera view of Ty in that 10. Seeing that 10 on Daytona is special to me, as my grandfather won with Derek Cope racing the 10 machine there in the 1990 Daytona 500. So seeing that 10 car on the track once again, as you see him trying to put the heat on Savowski there as they go down the corner, still side by side right now, go down onto the backstretch. Still side by side. Man, what a race right now, Carlos. Ty McIntosh has worked his way back up there. And if there's a driver to keep your eye on, it's definitely a 10 machine.
That's a pretty interesting historical little tidbit he just dropped on me out of the blue. We also have Brian Vorse out in the chat saying 35 totally ruined the bottom line at the end of the stage there.
Oh!
Oh, what happened?
Big move out of Ty McIntosh in that 10. Literally went from the bottom to the top all in one false sweep to block the 21 S. Savowski. Still holding that. Oh man, the 21 of Savowski's right up the back fender of Ty McIntosh. What a ballsy up the track to block that top side lane. But with that block, the bottom side lane, it now has momentum right now. Trying to overtake there. Now Great House, the winner of stage 1, is trying to overtake.
Remember what I was talking about earlier about warning signs, and also what I was talking about having that thing from duel number 1 where the driver leading the inside line got a little loosey-goosey. Didn't quite see that yet, but I am seeing signs of it possibly happening, as I actually saw the 21. That's even more wrong. The 26, the second car on the inside line, got himself a little loose from the guy right behind him, the 3rd driver on the inside line. So I'm seeing the warning signs. I think it's still there. The drivers need to be careful, and they need to understand just how far they can push these limits. Because the time to experiment, that's done. Any serious experiments, that's already should have happened in the duels or in the first 2 stages. At this point, you can't really risk any serious experiments, or at least you have to understand that there's no going back in case you mess up one of those experiments.
You know, as they say in school here, Carlos, for all these people that are starting school here soon, if you go back on the test, chances are you are wrong. So it is best not to go back on your test. As we see right now, Great House is now leading them across the start-finish line here, down into 1. The new leader on the track, holding off Brewer right there in that 2nd position. Man, Carlos, Brewer one spot more than ludicrous here, as he's in that 2nd position. He wants to overtake. He has yet to hold the lead there, really fighting his way up there. He's done a great job of keeping his car inside the top 5, but a lot of speed behind him as well, as we're not seeing much separation. Gosh, Carlos, from the 1st position on down, we're only seeing about 35 tenths of a second there, so these cars are stuck on one another here, but we are seeing a little bit of separation of Great House, Brewer, and Edwards now leading the way there on the inside lane. Now the inside lane is the more faster lane there, Carlos.
still want to get the advantage to the outside lane. I don't know what's going on, but that inside lane there, we have found some serious pushers, and these drivers are committed. They have the confidence. They know what they're doing, and that inside lane is working. But I see both lines being extremely fragmented. I don't see either line being overly strong compared to the other. It's kind of just like wherever they are now, they're just holding their position. So I think the first line to actually get tightened back up, get wound back up, will be able to get the lead position once again. But right now, that inside line and the outside line are they're not all working together as well as I thought they would.
Yeah, no, and Greathouse is leading the way still on the inside. You see Brewer as well in the second position, Edwards in the third position, that 20 machine. As you just mentioned, Carlos, that outside lane there is fragmented a little bit there. Shout out to Dr. Strange, because things are getting strange here on the track as we see the lanes switch up. Now the bottom side lane's really stacking up with the amount of drivers, and that top side lane there is really spacing out, and you see more drivers inside lane there as we just saw the 10 of Ty McIntosh slide down to the inside lane. Really trying to get, dip your toes in the water to see which lanes is the fastest. As you just said, Carlos, the time for experimenting is over. But I suppose if you find the fast lane there, as we just spoke about that choo-choo train running around the Christmas tree, if that bottom side lane is the way to go, you want to get down there and go as fast as you can.
It seems like the drivers are making that choice. On duel number 2, the outside line was pretty much the place to just train and take it easy. Right now, it looks like the drivers are just committing to riding on that inside line, so a change of pretty much where they're riding out. But I am a little shocked. I think this is what the drivers are talking about, how there's less of a suck-up, less of an overall draft for these cars. The gains are not strong, and we can see that here with the separations that we're seeing these drivers gain, and the fact that they're not really being closed up very quickly.
Oh, not at all there, Carlos. We're not seeing much separation at all. That bottom side lane is stacked on top of one another here. Almost like that viral trend, the crate game we saw about a year ago.
Oh, green flag pit stops.
Green flag pit stops on the track there,
no!
Carlos, and I'll let you... No! Oh, man, a big stack up on pit road. We have calamity and chaos down pit road. A few drivers make contact, a few drivers sideways, a few drivers into the grass. Man, green flag pit stop.
All you Brewer fans, look away. I think he got the worst end of it all. A couple drivers missed the commitment cone entirely, so we're going to have a couple unsafe pit entries. And I believe Brewer in the 20 missed that and also spun in front of the drivers going down pit road, and he did get clipped. So there's also race damage coming from that. As this is some of the dangers I was talking about. I didn't quite expect this. I was mostly more concerned with the exit of pit road and the merging back on track. That's where I feel you lose a majority of the time. So practicing green flag pit stops is very effective and very important, because you're going to lose a lot of time, and this is not the place where you want to do that. You want to maintain your position relative to that first pack, and if you find yourself 6 or 7 or more seconds behind that second pack or that first pack, you're going to be spending the rest of the race, barring a caution, catching up. And it can be a stressful game of getting everybody to work with you, because that's a commitment that's taken by that whole secondary or tertiary pack. It's not just one person that says, all right, let's push up and catch up to the field. It's got to be a whole commitment, and more often than not, you're not going to get everybody's commitment, and that's pretty much your race right there. But we saw there with the 20, that was unfortunate indeed.
Yeah, and shout out to the Nelk boys there. You have to put that thing into full send mode going down into pit road, or you're going to see exactly what we saw there, Carlos. But what a way to hit the halfway mark here in the Daytona 250 with calamity and chaos down pit road. Nothing's changed just yet on the top. It's just leading the race here, going down into 3 and 4. Hangs right behind him. Hangs raced an incredible race here tonight as well. As we're going to go a multi-cam point of view here, if you're watching along with us on YouTube on 3Wide TV, as we see exactly what happened down pit road there, Carlos. And as you mentioned, a few of the drivers really tried to get onto the brakes in reaction to damage.
Unfortunately, I'm not sure which is that teal car, but the 22.
Ooh.
Oh, I believe that might be Western Green. I think in the 22. Yeah, Western Green. That's an unfortunate. Pretty much, that's going to be it for him. He's still going to be out there on track, but his chances of winning with that hit are pretty much very, very low right now. And he's a very good racer at these things, so he's going to be very upset that he's not going to get a chance to actually compete in this.
Turquoise car that you saw, that number 11, is Riley, who we saw racing up in the lead for the majority of this second stage here. A driver that we really had our eye on here to close things out. A driver that I thought may have taken home the prize here tonight, the way he was able to climb through the field. We saw him right in the middle of that incident on pit road. So another driver that unfortunately is going to have a lot of work to do here to close out these late stages. Now Greathouse is leading him down into the corner onto the backstretch here. Hang's trying to get around him. Ogle is right there as well. Two of the names I have difficulty pronouncing are up there as well there, Carlos. I'll have to have you jump on here to help me pronounce some of these names because they have done an awesome job of climbing the grid as well. It's like
Delicado.
There we go. And Kuzlowski's up there as well. Has done a great job of climbing their way up in the field, as it looks like Greathouse is going to lead them across the start and finish line here on lap 56, going down into corner number 1 here. But a lot of shifting and a lot of feeling around right now as we come right off of those green flag pit stops. We'll see which drivers. And Carlos, I wanted to ask you here, you have a better screen than I do. Which drivers stayed out? Which drivers do you feel like took more of an advantage of that pit stop? And could you see who took the most there on those pit stops?
Yeah, give me a moment. I mean, obviously the drivers that were involved in that incident that had to come back again, they really did not benefit from that at all. But it seems the majority of the field took 4 fresh tires and fuel.
Here we go, a way to get this thing closed out here, but it looks like the White Claw machine is back in the mix as well. He popped a few after that first incident there, and that 83 machine's now feeling the buzz of those White Claws, has now raced that thing back up into contention there with that bright yellow paint scheme in that 83. I think the topside lane's trying to build up just there, but not enough speed there to catch the leaders here of Greathouse and Hang as they're starting to separate there on the 3rd position. Now, a lot of work to do to hold off that top side lane there, because it looks like the bottom side lane is now fragmented as they head down into 3.
Yeah, I was a little concerned as to why a couple of those drivers did go down pit road at the halfway mark of the race. I guess they were trying to split the field in half, but well, I'm not actually quite sure if it's going to be a good thing or not, but only time will tell. If we don't get a caution, we're going to see where those drivers eventually filter out. But considering the fact that a couple drivers did have issues, and some of them even got race damage from it, I don't think that this was a very good, may not necessarily be a good deal or a bad deal, but it just isn't working out. It probably won't work out for these guys.
And Carlos, if my eyes are pretty bad, but if my eyes are seeing the grid just right, are we seeing Eckert inside the top 10 after going down a lap to start things off here tonight?
Yeah, as we mentioned, he went down a lap due to checking up for an incident that did not bring out the caution. So we know he didn't fall a lap down because of lack of pace. Johnny Eckert is a championship caliber driver, and a driver that is very well respected, as Niven has gone down pit road by himself. So odd strategy, we'll see if it pays off. But Johnny Eckert back up in the top 10. He's currently 6th, almost 5th, actually 5th right now, as he's 5th driver, of course, on the inside pack. So Johnny Eckert back into this race, and you can't really count this guy out.
No, the one driver I would count on is Eckert there, as you see climbing into the top 5. Really right there, we're taking a look at that cockpit point of view right there. It's got a lot of speed, really took on some positions there, really found a comfortable line there on that inside lane there. As we're taking a look, if you're watching live, we're taking a look at one of the drivers there on your bottom right corner of your screen. Really, you get to see what it's like to take on the simulator here in iRacing here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. You see the intensity, you see the work, you see the motivation it takes in these races here tonight. There's a lot that goes into these races. You see the practice, you see the time, you see the focus of these drivers here. Taking a look at the race here, and as this race ticks down, Carlos, you're going to see he has a smile on his face now, but I feel like once this race starts to count down a little bit, he's going to get a little bit more serious on the simulator. No, and we're going to climb here towards the end of the season race number. Car racing league.
Oh, he's going pit road.
And that looked to be a little bit more smoother green flag pit stops than what we saw that first wave of drivers take on there. And Carlos, as we see him head down pit road here, and he's on this second wave of drivers that are heading down pit road, what would you say is more of an advantage, getting that wave 1 pit stop or wave 2 green flag pit stops?
It definitely, I want to say it's, I don't think the main advantage is going with the majority of the field. I think you have to go with a trusted and respected selective drivers that you know won't really be making mistakes like that. As you see number 6 of Zack Evans, who we were on board with, doing a full green flag pit stop set. Very interesting to see from the actual point of view as we have the rest of the field going down pit road. As I mixed up my buttons there, I do apologize for that.
And as Cotton once said, yeah, the rest of the field is down pit road here. We see the second wave of green flag pit stops here, but as Cotton once said there, Carlos, bold strategies do indeed pay off here as we're watching to see which strategy is going to be golden here tonight. Is it going to be the Average Joe's Dodgeball team or the Fighting Cobras coming out here on top as we're heading down the backstretch here as Hickox is now overtaking the lead, leading them down into corner number 3 here on lap 62, live on 3 Wide TV coverage out of the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. And Hickox, a driver that has really emerged from the depths, if you will, kind of faded back from the start of this race, has now got that 31 machine now in wave number 3 of cars heading down pit road here on these green flag runs.
I wonder if any of these drivers sped on pit road. There were a couple that locked up their wheels for a pretty significant time. Of course, flat spotting is not a thing on iRacing yet, but interesting to see. It could be a sign of somebody overshooting the pit road speed, and you know, now is not the time to do that. It's if this race does go green for the rest of the way, this is it. This is the last green flag pit stop. But for some drivers, if a caution does come out, I expect to see them back down pit road. Maybe just to change some tires, although it's not really going to be as important. Usually you're going to be seeing the drivers towards the back of the field are going to be kind of going back down pit road. But at this point, for the majority of the field, I would say this is it. They can make it the rest of the way here on the fuel. And it's just a matter of how much time did you lose entering and, more importantly, exiting pit road and merging. That's merging is where you lose the majority of the time. You have to practice being right up against that yellow line on the apron without actually going over. Because you lose a lot of time there, it's pretty much a race.
Yeah, Carlos, we're going to see that wave 3 of pit stops take place. Go back to normal here in just a second. Looks like around maybe lap 65, 66.
The current leader, Logan Savosky, these are the guys that went down pit road at the halfway mark. This is the first group of pit stops, and it seems it actually worked out for them pretty well.
But yeah, wave number 1 is back up into the lead here, folks. Things have shaken back out as Savosky's now overtaking the lead once again. Brule right behind him. They're running that topside lane. Riley is up there as well. You're seeing a little diciness coming off of corner number 2. Taking a look at that graphic we have on the screen here on 3Y TV if you're watching along on YouTube, as we have Savosky leading. Same time decides to drop down onto the bottom side to throw on the 11 of Riley as Riley gets clipped on the inside, gets sent right up into the track, into the wall. Riley in that 11 machine makes contact on the wall. Big calamity on the entry of man, Carlos, we have our 4th caution of the race here. Wow.
What a shame indeed, and it was just something that we kind of starting to build up there. Big shame, and that also includes, I think Greathouse was involved, but he's currently 5th, so it's possible he may have not actually properly been involved and was just off track for a little bit. But let's see what happened. It involved the 11, the 31, one of the South Shore Racing drivers. I think it's a 22 again? I hope not.
Take a look once again along here on YouTube. It looks like the 35 The 11 may have came down on top of the 35 there on the corner. And as we spoke about that
Wow.
yeah. And just takes out Brewer in that 26 who was running the top side lane as well. Hitters here in tonight's race have now been knocked out here. Really unfortunate for a lot of these guys that were making strong runs. This happened, oh yeah, contact from the 35 and the back bumper sent the 11 up into the danger zone lane. Then it gets clipped on the left back fender there. 35 gets loose as well, but the 11 gets more loose. Goes right up into the 26 there on the top side lane. The 11 and 26 making contact, and it was just a calamity. We see the 70 make contact as well. The DraftKings race car make contact as well on the top side lane. A few other cars are collected. Ty McIntosh looks like he took some damage as well on that 10 machine. Man, a lot of the who's who of tonight's race so far, Carlos, were tied up in that unfortunate event.
And unfortunately, my pick as well got caught up in the event right there. He hit the outside wall pretty hard. Not as hard as we saw. I'm just not sure what happened there. Let's take a look here at the 35. You see that there is a gap here, but that gap just gets closed very early on. And yes, I did realize I have a telestrator, so I am using it a lot more than I normally would. So right there, there's the contact that sends the 11, pushes him hard, and then continues to push him. Not sure if he hit the nitrous button or something, but that 35 got a push from hell from somewhere. I think the Ford did it, but he was pretty far back. I'm not sure what happened with the 35, that he just got that much speed, as he did slap the wall there for a second. But heavy damage to the 11. That's a race ender. Race ender to the DraftKings machine as well. The 6 may have race ender as well. I'm not sure what number this guy is. This guy has a bunch of damage. Look at these guys, not really checking up as much as I would probably appreciate it. But they did check up nonetheless, maybe? I don't know. Did they? We'll find out at the different camera angles. A lot of these drivers did get involved in this incident here.
I am not laughing at the misfortune of these drivers here tonight. I am laughing at John Madden Jr. over here with the illustrator drawing circles all over your screen there at home, and even threw the question mark on the screen at the end of things. So, man, I am jealous of that, Carlos. Even Pat McAfee has brought that out now on SmackDown on Friday night. So it's making a comeback, that's for sure.
Oh man, heavy misfortune. Look at that wheel. That wheel's coming off. That is off the. I can't draw a circle to say. That's a really good one. It's not a proper circle, but you saw that wheel is gone, detached from the body. Remember, these drivers do have the modern or the new damage model. So yeah, a lot of drivers down pit road. All that pit strategy is pretty much out the window. As yeah, it's a real shame indeed. Let's take a look, see if any of the drivers are waiting for us at the infield care center. No, it looks like all the drivers are still trying to either getting checked out or they do not want to talk to us. So no drivers currently in the infield care center. And so it looks like maybe some people are kind of getting a little heated out of chat. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are maybe not happy and they're expressing their frustrations out on the actual voice chat. But already, start of race number 1, and there are a couple people that are not happy with each other. Of course, we did see something similar during duel number 1 as well. A couple people not too happy with the others.
Not at all, Carlos. We saw that, and basically, I would say that the preseason or the All-Star race, if you will, here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League, that was the duels to start things off here. Set event, they were racing for championship points in that race, Carlos. But after tonight, for those drivers that are getting discouraged, and for your folks at home that your favorite driver may have been tagged up in that. Next week, though, all is not lost. We head to Arizona, Phoenix Raceway there for the Arizona 150. It's going to be 150 laps there at that hot and heavy racetrack. The top 4 will be the first 4 drivers to race in the Dash for Cash in that event. We head to Las Vegas after that, Auto Club in week number 4, and then we're going to go to Darlington in week number 5. So if you think things are crazy here tonight at Daytona, couple races as the green flag is in the air, and Hess is going to go ahead and take that green flag as things are on and popping here once again here in the Daytona 250.
I gotta say, Nicholas Monticelli looking on the outside for the race lead. Restarted this race second on the inside line, and I was going to mention Nicholas Monticelli. Really nice to see this guy running up front. He's been hard on himself these last couple of of weeks, and it's nice to see him getting up front, running well. And who knows? Now that a lot of these drivers have been involved in incidents, it looks like half the field is either damaged or off the race right now. So we can get a lot of possible upset drivers that can come in here and just break the norm as to what you would normally see in a Daytona 500 winner.
Yeah, as Monticelli's going to lead them down into the corner right now. He said, "How you doing? Keep it moving," as he passed the 54 of Hess for the lead around corner number 2 now onto the backstretch. He's now leading the way here in the Daytona 250 onto the backstretch here, holding off that big line behind him there on the inside lane. But we are seeing a build up there on the outside lane as well, Carlos. Not a lot of drivers there as we see a squeeze on the top side. The driver just got squeezed into the wall there on the top, so I get a better point of view who that was. We have a driver of 21, I believe that's Sadowski's alibi. Right now, as Monticelli's going to lead them around 4 onto the front stretch here, still holding off Hess in that 54, excuse me. Get Oval right behind him as well. In that White Claw machine has climbed his way back up there once again there, Carlos. What an impressive run it is from that White Claw machine.
Indeed. Excuse me, wow, I hit puberty there for a second. Wow, Andrew Hess, the whole field decided I'm going to pull a Monticelli and pass Monticelli on the outside line. Pretty much in the same location. Will, I have a question for you. How important are stage points?
Whoa! Stage points are very important there, Carlos, as we just saw a breakup of the top side lane there right on the entry of corner. That thing just split faster than the Decepticon there getting on right now as coming around corner number 4 onto the front stretch there. We're seeing a lot of diciness here going on right now as a driver, the number 4 machine right now is leading the way there on the top side. But Seth Raw is an impressive driver there, has now climbed his way back up in the contention. And Silvowski once again at the top 3 right now as they're running that high side lane there, the Dale Jr. line, if you will, about inches away from the top side lane as we're coming around corner number 2. But Carlos, to answer your question there, stage points are very important. As we spoke to a few drivers running those dual races there about those championship points. Some of these races down the stretch, some of these drivers will not be able to make the race. They have to take a provisional. They'll run a bad race, maybe get taken out early, as we're seeing some of these drivers here tonight as well. So those points really tend to stack up there. And if you want to make the playoffs and you can't get a race win to get you in, those points really come in handy.
I agree, but also, what if you get involved in a crash in the middle of the race? Our stage winners, Riley and Greathouse, I should say, they are 17th and 31st, not respectively. It's the opposite of respectively, because I set the names, but their positions are backwards. I don't know what that actually is called, so it's the opposite of respectively. But yeah, they are out of contention of this race, so it's very important. They got those 10 bonus points and a playoff point to start off the season. They're not going to finish great. At least Greathouse probably won't be finished, or Riley won't be finishing great. But hey, you at least have that to take in the bank.
Yeah, knowing those 2 drivers, I don't think they really care, Carlos, to be frank. You'll tell them that, and they say, so what at this point. Both of those drivers really were running strong here to start off this event. Greathouse and Riley could have been 2 cars in contention to close things out here. So the patient trophy for those 2 guys, they'll just throw that to the curb or throw those in the bin, if you will. They really want to win this race here to start off the season strong. Yeah, it's cool to have those points, but it's even better to have that race victory.
Yeah, I'm sure they're not going to remember it come next week or even any time after that. They're just going to be upset that they had a chance. They had the ability to win, and unfortunately got caught up in possibly something that they had nothing to do with.
But here we go. The Italians have taken over now as that 4 machine of...
They're both Shift Esports drivers, I should mention. You can tell by the rear spoiler.
They are taking over here, folks, as right now that 4 machines leading them down into corner number 1 has Seth Rawls, who's a very strong driver across multiple platforms of iRacing. Now on the back bumper there, really trying to make a move around that race car. Rest with here, Carlos, is how Fords have taken over. A lot of these back fender shots that we've taken, the Fords are right up there. Not something you're used to seeing here at Daytona. It's usually a Chevy-dominated race. The Fords have really come out strong here tonight, folks. Get a beautiful look at that Ford Mustang front fender there of Seth Rawls, that 25 machine.
Well, just like we saw in real life, yeah, the Chevys, they have the fastest speeds here at these tracks at Talladega and Daytona, but the Fords, with their relatively smooth front bumpers and matching rear bumpers, they usually tend to dominate the Daytona race as well as the Talladega races. So it's not all that surprising to see the Fords kind of running up well, especially with these two drivers that are in the same team. And even not too far back, we got Ty McIntosh and S2 Racing. That's their sister team. Although it looks like that may be it for them for the time being. There's a couple of the drivers that get involved in incidents. But 3 cars within the top 10 that can relatively work together. We might be seeing a shift or an S2 type of weekend here tonight for the Daytona 250.
And Carlos, as we've just crossed the line here with a quarter to go, 25 laps to go here in race number 1 of the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League here live. Look at that grid here, folks. If you're watching live with us on YouTube, we are looking at about an 8-car race from 8th position on. It's now a 7-second gap on the racetrack, folks. So 25 laps to go. They're going to really have to start closing that gap as fast as possible. If any of those cars there in that second pack want any contention, that second pack is led by Eckert and Ty McIntosh. 2 drivers we just saw get caught up not too long ago have now tried to race their way back into this. But Carlos, that's going to be a tough mountain to climb there.
They are constantly losing speed, like pretty harshly. Not sure just exactly what's going on with the secondary pack, but they're hemorrhaging speed every single lap. And unless a caution comes out, actually, I may see what could be the issue. No, never mind. It must have been a figment of my imagination. I could have sworn I saw some damage on the right side of Johnny Eckert's car. But yeah, pretty strange to see Eckert, who looks relatively clean, and a couple other drivers in the second pack. They all appear to be working together. Nobody's trying to pass each other, but they're just losing time. Of course, we're seeing the same exact thing with the first group. Nobody's really trying to pass the other person. But it just seems pretty weird. There's got to be, I think Eckert may have some sort of damage that we may not be able to see, because they are losing some time.
Yeah, and stranger things have happened. And no, we are not talking about the Netflix show here. All what that would take is a caution, as we almost have one on the exit of 2 there. If a caution comes out on the racetrack, those numbers don't mean anything, as the drivers will stack back up on the racetrack here, Carlos. But with 23 laps to go, Seth Rawls in that 25 machine is right there. Sadowski is there as well. Jordan Tarbo, who has worked his has brought his car back into contention as well. And Nevin right there in that 07. Hang, who's raced a strong race, that is a name to keep an eye out for here. And the rest of the way here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League has ran an incredible race here tonight. 83 is up there as well.
Yeah, from what you were saying, this first points race of the season, very strong. There were a couple rookie mistakes out there, but not an egregious race overall here tonight. Definitely, I would say one of the cleaner ones. Nothing out of the ordinary. So great start to the season. So far, we do still have 22 laps in this race, and 22 laps can be a long time if some of these drivers get up to any shenanigans that probably wouldn't be too nice for the admins to see. But 21 laps to go here at the time being. Do you think we're gonna have another caution?
Right now, it's football season. It's time to get out my bookie, DraftKings, whichever sports book you use. And if I was to take a gamble on the over-under of cautions right now, I would say we're going to have at least over 2 cautions to close things out here tonight, Carlos. The way these drivers are running right now, we almost had one right there. These drivers are going to get hot and heavy to close this thing out. I expect at least 2 more cautions to close out this race here tonight.
So that's your Will Tiller trends of the race?
I would say so there, Carlos. The way this probably about the most calm point of the race, as a lapped car just got, no, that's not a lapped car there, just got, yeah,
not
just
sure
got
why.
caught up there somehow.
Oh, we got it could just be the drivers can't make it the rest of the way. Eckert's gone pit road. There is one more green flag pit stop. We miscalculated.
Uh-oh.
We've made a huge mistake.
Mistakes do happen. Definitely throw a monkey wrench into the finish of this race here. Man, anybody could win this race here tonight. My man Carlos coming through with the graphics on the screen there if you're watching along live with us. Wide TV. If you're listening to the audio version only here, this is about the calmest point of the race so far with 20 laps to go. We're seeing about a 6 or 7 car line lead us around the start-finish line here, led by the number 4 machine going down into corner number 1. He's got Seth Rawls right behind him in second. Savowski, who has never faded outside of the top 5 here in tonight's race, in the 3rd position there, Carlos. But looking at that, we're already seeing wave 1 of drivers head down pit road as the lapped car is coming really close to the leaders there as they head down the backstretch here, down into 3. When do you think we're going to see these?
If they need to go down pit road, honestly, at a track like this, it probably doesn't matter when you go down, as long as the people you go down with are going to be there with you when you leave pit road. Some of the drivers, as we saw, like to go as soon as the window's open. Some of them like to go, halfway point. But normally in my case, I would probably just wait until you're about to run out of fuel.
Yeah, you push it to the limit here, Carlos, as we see another lap car go to the high side to get out of the way of these drivers coming quick, fast, and in a hurry there on the bottom side. Folks, as we're coming around the corner there, it's still the number 4 machine holding off Seth Rawls, but here we go, folks. We got some lapped cars that are in the mix here, creeping down on into 3 here as the 4 machine's going to lead them down. And these lapped cars, they got to know that this train is coming behind them, but this is really going to make things a little bit dicey here. Maybe it's time to make that move, seeing as these lapped cars are in the mix here, Carlos. We're going to head to the start-finish line here with 17.
A little spooky there as we see Johnny Eckert going another lap down, or excuse me, he's going 1 lap down for a 2nd time of the night. This time, though, of a more expected scenario during green flag pit stops. So he will be getting that lap back unless a caution comes out and he no longer finds himself in the lucky block position. But I don't know. He was already far back. This could actually help Johnny because he was hemorrhaging spots compared to the leader. It's not going to be good enough to help him get back up to the lead pack, but the fact that he'll be able to hang on with this main pack here, the lead pack right now, and not lose as much as he would without their help, he may find himself up ahead of some of the guys he was racing with that won't get this benefit.
Yeah, taking a look right now, folks, not much change down into the corner right now. The number 4 machine is still leading the way, holding off Seth Rawls in the 2nd position. And Carlos, one thing I wanted to ask into the backstretch here off of 2, you're not seeing a lot of movement out of these drivers. They're really more content of kind of riding this thing out here. When do you think we're going to start seeing some of these drivers kind of break out of line and start making... It's going to be a huge gamble once they do, because you're going to lose a lot of speed not being in that line. But it's going to have to happen at some point as we're coming around 4 now onto the front stretch. When do you think it's time to go ahead and engage that slingshot, if you will?
I would say probably about 8, 7 more laps. I think 10 to go is still maybe a little too early. I think 5 to go may be a little too late. So somewhere around maybe 7, 8 laps to go is when I think the moves are going to start baking. But I mean, are you seeing what I'm seeing? That was a big gap between the 4 and the 25. Doesn't make sense because these guys are teammates. I think something must have happened. Maybe Seth Rawls saw that Logan was checking up behind and trying to make a move and decided he'd check up as well, so he can kind of block that. But the 21, I don't know, maybe that's exactly what happened because I'm not seeing the 25 attempt to pass the 4 unless it's the actual last lap.
Ooh.
And again, these guys may also have to go down pit road.
Hey, Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch are teammates, but you never see them working together, so you see what happens as they head down into 1, right? Oh, yeah. Well, sometimes. I think if it comes down to... it's the teammate thing's probably going to go out the window in that situation.
I know the mentality. I know the mentality of Shift Esports. I've broadcasted them for a couple years now. Shift Esports is a group that would rather get the team win than get the driver win.
I love it. And as they say, Carlos, teamwork does indeed make the dream work here, as we see two here coming around 3 and into 4. Man, Carlos, if they can hold down that 1-2 position and just block both lines, if you will, it's going to be hard to knock these guys off a podium finish.
I've been in teams where we've had 4 or more drivers, if we had sister teams, and we had the idea of having the top 2 rows kind of grouped up. We would have 2 drivers on the inside and on the outside, and first and second, and the idea was to just block off the rest of the field. But in theory that could work, but I don't think we were ever able to make that work. It's hard to do, but with 2 drivers holding off one specific lane, I think it's very possible.
Yeah, as they come off of 4 now, heading to the front stretch here. That 4 machine still with his teammate Seth Rawls right there. Going to cross the line here with 12 laps to go here in the Daytona 250 live on 3 wide TV, as we're coming up on more of one of those lap cars. Are going to get on the radio and probably get out of the way of these cars. You're going to stay really low as you start to see a few cars start to drift up the track. They have to know, their spotters have to let them know that this lead pack is coming, as you see one of the cars drift up and almost make contact with the 4 machine there on the entry of 2, but they are free and clear of that lap pack now as they go to entry this corner here. Carlos, a lane change now heading down into 3 and 4.
Yeah, and the last thing you want to do as a lap vehicle is LePage the field. Doesn't matter how brightly colored your car is, that's the last thing you want to do. But what we saw right there, that the whole issue of trying to split some of these lap down vehicles is that it kind of broke up the field. You saw Johnny Eckert, who was right up behind this lead pack. He's a lap down right now currently, of course, because he went down pit road. But I do think he's got damage. During that move up, he lost time. He lost the draft to this main pack. The first 4 drivers, it's now a 4-car first pack.
Yeah, Carlos, those lap cars really came into the mix there, really blocked off the rest of these here. Virtually, as we're coming around 3 onto 4 here, going down the front stretch here, and across the line here with 10 laps to go here, folks. It is time to wake up. It is time to get those coffees going, those Red Bulls cracked open, if you will. We have 10 laps to go here. The Dynasty Stock Car Racing League race number 1. And what a race it has been here so far, folks, as the 4 machine's going to lead them around corner number 2, holding off Seth Rawls here onto the backstretch. And Carlos, if this, like I said to start off this broadcast, if the duels are any indication of how the season is going to go, it gave us a preview of this race here tonight at Daytona. We've seen exactly that. As I mentioned, this is about the calmest and lowest point of this. Probably due to the green flag pit stops. It's probably due to the big caution we had just before the pit stops as well there, Carlos. But
Some
right
drivers
now,
Team Miata.
there we go. I was just about road, so those windows must be closing there on some of these leaders, Carlos.
I have a feeling that if the top 3 right now that are currently out right here, if they cannot make it on fuel, then they are banking on either a caution coming out, which one almost did right there, didn't get to it right on time, but or they are gonna wait till their tank is as dry as it can be, go down a pit road and just fill the bare minimum that they can, and that will help ensure, as long as they don't mess up entering or exiting pit road, that'll help ensure that they will at least get the lead. As here we go, the rest of the field, the top 3 that have yet to stay out, this could actually hurt them. Only being 3 drivers, this could hurt them. But they're finally down in pit road. I gotta say, nice and smooth.
As we're going to see a shakeup on that grid there, folks. And Carlos, this thing's really going to shake out. I'd say, looking at the pit stops and the way this is flowing so far, with about 5 laps to go, we'll see everything shake out and unfold here to close things out, as we're taking another look at the in-car camera view. The review is we're seeing a car exit pit road, and we're seeing live action on the track if you're watching along on 3 wide TV. We're taking a look here.
I think it's a big enough separation. The only thing I'm worried about, Logan Slavoski, I think he lost too much time. He lost too much time. And I think Nick and Seth are going to get together, but it's just the two of them. I don't think they have enough horsepower to be able to hold off the 23 of Brochu, who is right now on the backstretch.
The singing last week, it's your turn to do the singing. Just the two of us. They can make it if they can. As you see, they're now back out on the track 1-2 there, trying to overtake the lead here. Things are going to shake out once again here as they now have Seth Rollins up there, Savowski as well.
That's good.
They're back out in the lead there, Carlos.
They also have a couple other lap-down vehicles that can be helping them at least provide a buffer. As I think Sam Brochu and Ryan Marabello, they probably will catch up to the back of this pack. I think they're all going to be there, so it's, I don't know. Maybe Nick, Seth, I think they probably waited just a little bit too late. It could work out for them, but I think the 36, sorry, the 23 who shows us the 36 here, and the 52 are going to be able to make it here just on time. Excuse me, we are on board the 23, not the 36.
Include here in the 50. We're going to cross the start finish line here with 6 laps to go. We invite everybody to tune in here next week on 3Y TV. Don't be late because the action will pick at Phoenix Raceway. Will be live at around 8:55, 9 o'clock to bring you week number 2 here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. If some of your favorites got taken out early here, whoa! That was, I believe that was. Yes, I think a driver may have gotten sideways there, hit the apron, hit the brakes hard, and maybe saved that race car there. We almost had a caution on the racetrack. That would have really threw a monkey wrench into the closing stages of this race here, Carlos. But nothing just yet here from race control.
I think maybe somebody blew an engine because there's nobody out that's slow right now. I can't tell. I can't tell, honestly. So, but there was definitely smoke. I don't know why. I don't think it was a car because I think we would have seen it. But whatever it is, that's gone. That's not an issue anymore. It just scared us. It was a little wake-up call on the wake-up call.
I'm going off at 6:30 in the morning. I have to set 1 or 2 to make sure I get up for work at 8 o'clock. As we're seeing these drivers put in the work here tonight with 5 laps to go.
Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
I am.
You see, that first pack could be getting smaller, yo.
It be getting smaller. It do be like that sometimes, as that front pack knows that there is a lot of speed behind them, creeping, if you will. Shout out to TLC. We do love to creep here in the iRacing series because they are. And there we go. Ty McIntosh has now come into your point of view. If you're watching live here on 3Y TV, Ty McIntosh in that 10 machine, who has had a strong run at Daytona here at Speed Weeks in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League, is now right on the back bumper of Seth Rollins. No, that's about machine trying to push his way up there, but I believe Ty McIntosh is not registering inside the top 5 on this thing. He might be a lap car.
Oh, yeah, he is a lap out. He's 21st right now.
It is just a 3-car race to end this race here tonight, folks, because right now they have about a 2.5 second lead of Brochu, my race pick here tonight. Unfortunately, it looks like he's going to finish outside of the top 3 here with 3 laps to go. Throw up those 3s. Rest in peace to Dale Earnhardt, as we have a 3-car race here to close out this race of the number 4 machine, Seth Rollins and Savowski in that 21. Now, if you're the 21 of Savowski, do you try to make that move? Laps? Try to get past those teammates?
It's going to be very difficult, but if you're the 21 and hopefully you have the information, then you would know that the top 2 cars in front of you are on the same team. You're not going to get help from them at all. You have to cross that out of your mind. They are not going to help you whatsoever. You have to put them in a position where they have to separate, and or you're going to need the guys behind you who are appearing to lose the draft to help you out. Is oh man, that is the last thing you want to see if you're the 21. That's the last thing you want to see if you're the 21.
if you're the 21, should you have gotten on the radio and radioed the 10 of Ty McIntosh, asked him for help, even though he is a lap down, maybe go to that high side and get a big push from that 10?
Oh, hold on. Yeah, that's right. People on the chat are bringing it up. The 10 of Ty McIntosh is on the sister team of Shift Esports, which is currently 1 and 2. You have no help at all. Last lap is out. This is going to be a Shift Esport win.
That's it. Final lap here in week number 1 of the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League as the number 4 machine leads them down into 1. You got Rawls right 5. You got teammates 1, 2. The 21 of Savowski's right behind him as they come around corner number 2 onto the backstretch here. Got some lap cars there on the backstretch. It's going to get a little dicey there to get around those cars. They're going to go to the outside here, heading down into corner number 3. The number 4 machine's now going to lead them down into corner number 4. Seth Ross now separated. Looks like we're going to have a clear winner on the track here. Going to have my guy Carlos pronounce his name when he crosses the finish line, but here comes the 21 on the inside. He's going to have enough speed to do so. It looks like he might, as the lap cars are getting into entanglement there, as the 4 machine's trying to hold him off there. It looks like the 4 machine's going to win the race here in week number 1 in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League.
Well, step away from the mic. I know you're hungry, but you don't have to chew on that mic any further. As the race is over, Nick and Delicato and Shift Esports, as I meant to say, Nick and Delicato, the 25 Seth Rawls, win it 1-2 for Shift Esports. Johnny Eckert is wrecked across the start-finish line. Logan Slabowski, I don't think there was anything else you could have done unless something happened, and something almost did happen, as Peter Short, legendary commentator for 3Y TV, is saying to eat the mic. So I don't know. I guess listen to Peter. He's better at it than I am. But
hey,
there's nothing you can do.
Carlos. I took the mic off the stand. I got up with it. I got excited, and man, what a finish it was here in week number 1. We couldn't ask for more. Of course, those last minute stages there, the 15-20 laps, were a little bit slower than what the folks were used to start off. A little bit of the same Groundhog's Day. Shout out to Bill Murray there. But what a race it was out of that number 4 machine.
As Peter Shirt, that's Tom. That's Tom Ogle in 5th place. So let's quickly go over the final race results before, in case we actually do lose the graphics. I'm not sure that's going to happen. I doubt it. But tonight's race winner is Nick Indelicato for Shift Esports. Seth Rawls also for Shift Esports, finishing in 2nd place. Fantastic 1-2 finish for the Shift Esports guys. I'm sure they're not going to talk about it on Twitter at all. Logan Slabowski, just there's nothing you can do. You feel for the guy. He was in a no-win situation. Something almost happened, but it just wasn't enough. And he finished in 3rd place still. Top 3 position to start off the season. Andrew Hess in 4th. Tom Ogle in 5th. Then we got Ming Han in 6th, DJ Weeks in 7th, Jordan Tarbo 8th, 9th, Jeremy Niven, and Johnny Eckert, who actually ended up spinning out across the start-finish line, finished in the top 10.
Yeah, we take a look there at Johnny Eckert in the, as you just mentioned, the top 10 position. And same Broshu, who was my race picker here tonight, is going to finish in 12th. Ryan Mitchell's going to come home 13th there. Ryan Hyatt's going to finish in 14th. Joey Hickox really came in strong here tonight. He's going to finish in the 15th position. Brian Lovrozano is going to finish in the 16th position. Adam Tepe is going to finish in the 17th position.
Tepe.
And that's going to round out. Tepe is going to be the car. Barrett Paul Humus? Close?
Paul Humus? Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, I was close. It's going to sound it out there. He's going to finish in the 18th position there. We are our first car a lap down. Looking at the next page of results there. We're looking at Adam Kozlowski in the 19th position. Damian Leininger.
Yep.
I got that one right there. Going to finish in the 20th position. Davis Warren's going to finish in the 21st. Matthew Greathouse, who really ran strong throughout tonight's race, going to finish in the 22nd position.
Stage 1.
Yeah, Kevin Strandberg's going to finish in 23rd. Vic Bloom's going to finish in 24th position. Ty McIntosh, man, what a disappointing end it was for him, that 10 machine here tonight. Going to come home in the 25th position. Josh Robinson's going to finish in the 20th. And Nicholas Monticelli is going to finish in the 28th.
Yep, 29th is going to be Vincent Isabella. Zack Evans, my pick, finished 30th, unfortunately. Zach Roethlisberger, 31st. John DeBarro finished tonight's race in 32nd. Kean Riley finished in 33rd. Matt Brewer, 34th. You saw him getting involved in a pit road incident. David Westergreen, 35th. Brian Edwards, 36th. Aaron Cooper only was able to complete 10 laps of the scheduled 100 laps here tonight. Nick Vasquez, who was a last-minute addition and unfortunately an early night exit, only completing just 2% shy of 5 laps. And William George, 39th, Fred Anderson, and 40th were unable to start tonight's race. But I'm actually going to be calling it a night here for myself as Will, I'm going to let you handle the post-race interviews, talk to the top 3 finishers, get their takes on it, and see what maybe we can expect here next week.
Sounds good to me, Carlos. And as we have a second to do so, we do want to shout out those sponsors here tonight. Pro Air, we found out, was a medical sponsoring tonight's event, making all of this possible here tonight, making the broadcast possible, making these races possible. We couldn't do it without you sponsors, so big shout out to you guys out there. But without further ado, let's see if we can bring in the 3rd position car here for a quick chat and see what they thought about tonight here. And we are joined now by Logan Savowski. And Logan, man, you ran one heck of a race here tonight. You ran inside the top 5 throughout tonight's event. Really came on strong there. I know the folks at home were almost falling asleep there towards the end. Take us through your point of view of tonight's race. And, man, coming home 3rd's not what you wanted to do, but still a strong run here at Daytona.
Oh yeah, man, it was a blast out there. You know, I can understand everybody at home being a little bored there at the end, but you know, those fuel strategy races, I'm not a big fan of them either. It's a lot of anxiety, especially going through that last pit stop and getting out clean. I didn't think we were going to be out in the lead after that pit stop, but we pitted so clean, those top 3 there, that we are able to hold the lead and came out with a 2-second gap and ended it with like a 4-second gap. So, you know, strategy worked out. I'm glad we came home 3rd.
Few different strategies here tonight. The race really started off high octane, high pace, and it really kind of hit a lull there. What do you think led to that, and did you expect such a high pace to start things off here tonight?
Yeah, I think early there in the race, you know, I led a few laps there to start, tried dragging that top, but with such a big field, nobody really wanted to run it. It was hard to drag it like we talked about last week. I think, you know, those early wrecks kind of weeded some guys out, and some faster guys that started in the back, you know, made their way to the front, and those faster guys, along with the guys that started up front, were able to kind of control the race from there and, you know, control runs, control different things in the race, like those pit stops there at the end. So I think that was just the benefit to being out front. You were able to control, and, you know, that was what led to that kind of lull there in the race.
Yeah, talking about control, you were able to control your position throughout tonight's race. I don't think I ever saw you fade out of the top 5. Did you feel like the race victory was in your hands, and how difficult was it to try to make a move on those teammates up at the top? We saw you make a run there on the last lap, but it just wasn't enough to seal the deal. Did you have in your head, man, not only do I have to get past, how difficult was that at the end there?
Well, actually, before you even answer the question, did you know that the 2 guys in front of you were in the same team, and the lap down guy behind you was on the sister team?
Yeah, I'm pretty good friends with some of those guys over there. We've been friends for a few years now. Not on the same team in this league, but, you know, able to run together a little bit there. That's why our pit stops work so well. So, I didn't think I was really gonna have a run to win that race. You know, I figured I'd get past one of them, if that. But, you know, I'm happy with the 3rd place finish. Glad to be able to talk to you guys here again this week and come out with some good points. I think we got stage points in every stage. I don't know where we finished in each stage, but, you know, good points day, and I'm ready to get to Phoenix.
Yeah, and you do qualify for the first Dash for Cash next week at Phoenix. And speaking of Phoenix, next week's race, how confident are you at that racetrack? It's a difficult track for most, but with the run in you put in here tonight at Daytona, I feel like you're going to go in there with a lot of motivation, a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Phoenix. I think it's a very unique racetrack. I'm a big fan of flat tracks. This car is kind of weird in that aspect. I think we're gonna be seeing some shifting and stuff like that, and I think it's gonna be who manages tires, and hopefully we get some green flag runs there to kind of weed some of the guys out that have a fast car, have the long run car. I hope we see a good mix of that. I'm really looking forward to it. Not sure I'm too excited about going there in the next gen car, but because this car, they kind of changed the aerodynamics today. It was a little different out there, and we'll have to see how it runs with that small spoiler, big horsepower package next week. But I'm excited to get to Phoenix and start to get the rest of the season going. I'm excited.
Yes, sir. And what a way to kick off this season here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. And Logan, you come home third here tonight. You get your podium finish out of the way here to start the season. But before we let you go, strategize and take some notes for next week's race at Phoenix. We do love to give you guys that opportunity to shout out anybody that you had.
Can you say that last part again? You cut out at the very end.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No, just any sponsors you have watching here, or any people you have watching at home, and any sponsors you have on the side of that car.
I have no sponsors. It's a black 21 Chevy. I worked pretty good with those guys up front, Seth and
Yeah.
Dick and Ty. And we tried to work with Key in there in the race before he got killed by the 23 there, so that was unfortunate. But really looking forward to working with those guys. Hopefully we can figure out some sort of partnership. I'd like to work with them, so we'll see what happens. I'm excited for the rest of the season and see where it takes us from Phoenix on.
Awesome, man. Well, you keep racing the way you've been racing here the past week or so. I'm sure you'll have a sponsor on the side of that car in no time. But at 3Y TV coming home third here tonight. You do qualify for that Dash for Cash next week, and can't wait to see what you have in store for us here at Phoenix. And have a great race to your night, and can't wait to see you next week.
Thank you guys. Have a great night. Great job on the broadcast and getting ready for this big race. So can't wait to see what you guys have in store the rest of the season.
Close. If there was ever a driver that I thought was going to come home with the win, it was Logan up there. As I mentioned in that interview, I don't think I ever saw that car drift out of the top 5 at all. As we're now going to move on to our second position finisher here, a driver that I'm familiar with that I saw last night in the Virtual Racing Association, who comes home second here tonight. A big run to start off the season here in the next gens. Seth Rawls in the 25 machine. And Seth, well, we just spoke with the third place finisher of Logan Silvowski, and he was talking about how this race was really, really high pace to start off. You saw a lot of cautions, you saw a lot of accidents, but then the ender stage. Just through your point of view of tonight's race and how you're able to hold off or not make a move on your teammate there, but hold on to that second position to close out things.
Yeah, I'll start with the race. I think it was definitely, an interesting race. I think, like I said in the past couple weeks of VRA, it's a new league. People are trying to get, know each other's styles and all that kind of driving styles, and to play track, so that didn't help at all. But once we got, even to our kind of single filed out and relaxed a little bit, race was awesome, I thought. Some great pit work by us three at the front, Nick and Logan. But yeah, at the end, unfortunately, cut the lap traffic a little bit, not in the best spot possible. So I couldn't really make a big move like I wanted to. I tried to do something with Vic, but it didn't really work that well. So I had to kind of play it safe, and I saw Logan actually make a move. I was like, I can't let him win over our shift cars, so I had work with Nick there, and I actually side drafted Logan to get a 1-2 for us. But great work by Logan all night. Kind of like him enough for his teamwork and help supporting us.
Yeah, man, talking about teamwork, making the dream work there. We saw you work with your teammate throughout tonight's race. Was there a lot of chatter on the radio? Was there a lot of strategizing throughout the race? Because we saw a few different ways of cars making green flag pit stops there, as well as a few big accidents there. Was there a lot of communication between you and your teammate, or did you guys already have a set plan coming in?
Yeah, we kind of rolled the punches tonight. I feel like Kian and Ty, they were up front for most of the race. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for them in the end. But I mean, I kind of played it safe. I feel like, which is nothing wrong with pushing for it. But in terms of pit strategy, we're just kind of you don't want to lose as much time. You don't want to lose any time really on pit road, and that comes with merging on, merging off. So really pushing each other to get that gap before you pit was the deciding factor for us because we came out 1, 2, 3 and didn't even lose a lap. Didn't even get past, and actually started getting people when we got out. So, that was the big strategy on the comms, just trying to, plan it out, get the right pushes going, and it all worked out, fortunately.
Yeah, Seth. Speaking with Seth Ross here, the second place finisher here in the Daytona 250 to start things off here in the Dynasty. Seth, I wanted to ask you before we get into the sponsors and people you had watching here tonight, what led to you and Nick and Savowski separating so much from the rest of the pack? Because as you just mentioned, there were lap cars that came into the mix. There was a few other factors that came into the mix as well. But it really seemed like you guys just really separated from everybody. What do you think led to that?
I don't know. So, like Nick or Logan was talking about earlier, was the new air package. It was definitely interesting. I think the side draft, it's always been tough in these cars, but the side draft in these things is incredible. And if you lose a little bit of momentum, you're just going to hurt yourself, stall yourself out in the long run. And, we did a great job of staying single file, bumper to bumper, not even get on the court, not even looking at the quarter panel, because you look at the quarter panel, you're side drafting, you're going to lose momentum. And I think that's what happens to the guys behind us. They either raced or trying to make a pass, or it's weren't in single file line. And it side drafted them, and then ultimately stalled the runs that they were going to get up to us. So yeah, it was just a hats off to Nick and Logan for staying true to the single file bumper to bumper until the last corner. But obviously nothing happened out of it. But we tried. But it got us what we wanted.
Yeah, Seth, you really stayed behind your teammate's bumper there. Really, essentially pushed him across the start-finish line there. But with that second place position here tonight, you do qualify for the first Dash for Cash here in the Dynasty Stock Car Racing League. That is next week at Phoenix. How confident are you at Phoenix? It's a tougher track for most. We just spoke with Logan. He's actually pretty excited about that track next week. Take us through what you think about next week's race.
Yeah, I mean, this is my first season in next gen car, so it's gonna be learning the whole season, obviously. But I'm excited to see how it drives there. I haven't driven that kind of style track yet in next gen car. Done some road courses. They've done a 1.5 miles and the plate track, obviously. But yeah, looking forward to it. Dash Cash is gonna be another incentive. I love that Johnny's putting that on, DJ putting that on. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be interesting, but excited and interesting.
There we go. I love it. Interesting but exciting at the same time. And Seth, with that podium finish here tonight, we do love to give you drivers the opportunity to shout out anybody you had watching here live on 3Y TV or any sponsors on the side of that race car.
Yeah, I got Launch Partners LLC, which is a marketing firm. They're on Twitter and Instagram. Check them out if you need help launching your business or doing social media for your business. Really great guys over there. Shifty Sports as well. Awesome teamwork all night. Wish Ty and Kian could have done a little bit, finished a little higher with their Rex. Unfortunately, didn't happen. I messed that up. And then 3Y TV for putting the broadcast on. You guys, I guess I didn't shout myself out. I do SR design. I still do paint schemes and stuff like that. So if you have any paint scheme or logo, graphic design, check out SethRollsDesign.com. It feels weird to say I'm shouting myself out, but might as well get the podium.
We appreciate you taking the time with us here tonight. We can't wait to see what you have in store for the rest of the folks at home next week at Phoenix, and a huge congratulations next week.
Thank you very much. Have a good one, guys.
Yes, sir. And that was Seth Ross, who comes home second here tonight. Really was making it work with his almost the Pippin to the Jordan here tonight, making sure his teammate crossed the finish line first. But without further ado, it is time to bring in our race winner.
Oh, you got it.
And Nick, the number 4 machine, one thing I wanted to get out of the way is at the folks at home who wanted to be your fan, who wanted to cheer you on, what's the proper enunciation of your last name?
So a lot of people ask this indelicato. So indelicato.
Oh,
there you go.
Even Carlos wants to know.
I had no. I thought I knew. I just had it wrong the whole time. I was like, in delicado.
You guys are fine. It happens.
We need to get that name down because the way you raced here tonight.
Oh. Carlos, is he cutting
I
out
think
for
he's
you?
gone. I think
He's dude.
I think his internet finally
Carlos,
died.
you gotta take over. Take
All
over.
right, yeah, I guess I'll take over. As it looks like the graphics also died as well the moment you got in here, Nick. But
broke everything.
wow, what a fantastic 250 for you winning the first ever points race for the DSCR Cup Series. And I just gotta ask, did you? I had a feeling that you, by the time you got the white flag, you probably knew it was a Shift Esports win. Did you know? Were you fully confident you were gonna win?
Yeah, I wasn't fully confident I was going to win. You know, I always, no matter what happens here at these plate tracks, you know, I always tell my teammates, if it comes down to, you know, us at the end there, go for it. You know, if one of us, if we both finish, I'm okay with that. So it was either me or Seth or Logan there. You know, Logan's not on our team, but he's a great friend and he did a hell of a job tonight. So, you know, none of this is possible without them. There's no way we would have pulled like we did. No way we would have gotten the pushes we did and finished the way we did. So at the end there, I mean, it was just a great team effort.
That's good to go. We were talking about having that team effort, having that NASCAR 06 total team control, and I gotta say, Shift Esports and Associates, you guys nailed that down today. So congratulations, you guys should put yourself on the cover of that video game for once. As yeah,
That'd be pretty cool.
you guys ended up getting the win, getting that first points win for this brand new league. How does that feel for you?
No, it's huge. It's huge. We got a little bit of points in the duels, which really did help. So I wasn't too crazy on getting stage points there. Goal was just to finish. That's why I was in the back 90% of the race. But made our move at the right time. Getting the win out of the way is huge because I feel like it just sets up momentum. Weirdly enough, you know, our team has been awesome at plate tracks. If anybody else watches other leagues such as OSCA or even Urska playoff race, you know, we have done a great job as a team keeping together, you know, making the right moves and really just finishing out races with solid finishes.
Yeah, so I actually just noticed that Will is fully gone. Nick, you showed up, and just like Zach said, you showed up and you just sent Will to the Shadow Realm. But yeah, well, you guys are moving on to Phoenix next week. You looking forward to that?
Yeah, I mean, I always love different racetracks other than plate tracks. Usually plate tracks aren't the best for me, but you know, Phoenix, it's not a bad track. It's something that I don't enjoy a lot, as a mile and a half compared to that. But Phoenix isn't terrible, so we'll go there. And to be honest with you, goals top 5, top 10. That's always the goal. That's what I tell the team. If you can pull out solid finishes, be consistent, you're going to go places. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, well said. Before we let you go, do you have any shout-outs you want to give out?
Yeah, once again, everybody watching, if you are still watching, go check out Sam Drace. You see him on our 4-car. You'll see him on our 4-car in Osaka as well. Great sponsor, great friend. He's a motorsports photographer. Takes amazing pictures. So go follow him, Twitter, Instagram. Also, shout out to our team, Shift Esports. I mean, obviously tonight, everybody does a great job. And one of our team owners, Seth Rawls, also makes these amazing paint schemes. And if you want a paint scheme for iRacing, message him, DM him on Twitter, Instagram, and he'll get one made up for you. So once again, thank you guys for broadcasting. It's always fun.
All right, thank you so much, Nick. We'll let you celebrate tonight's victory here at the Daytona 250.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
All right, so unfortunately, with Will being sent to the Shadow Realm, that's gonna do it for us here tonight for the first ever points race of the to read a message here of the Dynasty Stock Car Racing Cup Series. So fantastic job by everybody. This was a pretty good start of the season, pretty good start of a league career. And on that note, we'll leave you guys out to have another fun time. We'll see you guys next week, same time at Phoenix for the second race of the season.